opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good morning. Positive outlook. Moody's hails progress in the government's fiscal position as the PLP hails success in cleaning up what it calls the F&M's mess. And Loretta Butler Turner says Minnis's denial of a nomination is poetic justice. Plus, despite a decision from the Registrar General, the world-famous Valley Boys say they are pressing on and preparing. We'll talk to them about it. That's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Tuesday, April 8th, 2025. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Duquesa Dean will be joining us. Also this morning, we'll get a preview of the Monroe Pinder Award and all the details you need to know about this. Plus, later in business, our monthly series with Maison Bahamas. Today, we're talking about the importance of staging. And we'll take a look at the residential and commercial property of the month. That's all ahead on this busy Tuesday. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, the credit ratings agency Moody's upgrading the outlook on the government of the Bahamas' rating to positive from stable, a positive development that was quickly welcomed by Prime Minister Philip Davis, who said, quote, "It tells the world that the Bahamas is regaining its financial footing and that the work we are doing is credible and impactful." Moody's also affirmed the country's long-term issuer and senior unsecured ratings at B1, meaning the Bahamas remains adjunct status and is viewed as a high-risk borrower. The agency said the country has demonstrated meaningful fiscal consolidation over the past 2 years, saying, quote, "The change in outlook to positive reflects the increased likelihood that fiscal consolidation will strengthen the Bahamas' credit profile over time," saying that the government has already implemented a substantial fiscal adjustment and their commitment to maintain large primary surpluses thanks to revenue-enhancing reforms increases our confidence that debt will remain on a downward trend below 70% of GDP by 2028 from 76% in 2024. Moody's also said the Bahamas' positive fiscal and liquidity developments are unlikely to be significantly affected by a period of global financial markets volatility. Meanwhile, the PLP issuing a statement saying that the Moody's rating was evidence of success of its approach to governance as it cleaned up the, quote, mess left by the F&M administration. The PLP said Moody's, a respected international ratings agency, quote, gave our country its first positive outlook in almost 20 years. That means the world sees what's happening here. Our economy is getting stronger, our debt is coming down, and our country is finally back on track. That didn't happen by accident. That happened because the PLP got to work. In other news, a Bahamian man accused of being involved in a conspiracy to smuggle cocaine from South America to the Bahamas and into the United States was extradited from the Dominican Republic to the U.S. to face related charges. This happened on Friday. The charges stem from a U.S. indictment that was unsealed last year. The defendant, Theodore Nathaniel Adderley, a.k.a. Blue, appeared in a New York court on April 4th and pleaded not guilty to the charges. He's expected to appear in court today for a preliminary hearing date. The 53-year-old Adderley is the latest defendant connected to the case to be arrested overseas. However, Bahamian officials have yet to receive an extradition request from the U.S. for the remaining Bahamians named in the indictment. According to the indictment, Adderley is an alleged drug trafficker who worked closely with Bahamian William Simeon, multiple corrupt Bahamian police officials, and others to transport cocaine into the Bahamas by air from its transit point in South America and out of the country by boat to its final destination in the U.S. His arrest comes months after a U.S. indictment unsealed last November accused 13 defendants, 11 of whom are Bahamians, of smuggling cocaine and firearms into the U.S. A junior high school coach accused of having sex with an underage girl, 57-year-old John Campbell, appeared before Assistant Chief Magistrate Carolyn Vogt Evans yesterday, facing 6 counts of unlawful sexual intercourse. Campbell is alleged to have had intercourse with a teenager between October 2024 and March 2025. The girl was 14 and 15 when the incidents allegedly happened. Campbell did not have to enter a plea to the charges because the matter will be tried in the Supreme Court. The matter was adjourned to June 30th for the presentation of a voluntary bill of indictment. Campbell remanded to prison as the magistrate lacks the jurisdiction to consider bail for the charge, but he can seek bail in the Supreme Court. And a magistrate has ordered $8,000 seized by police during an armed robbery investigation forfeited as the proceeds of crime. Acting Senior Magistrate Anishka Isaac making the forfeiture order on Monday in the case of Annette Johnson, who's serving a 2.5-year sentence after she smuggled a loaded gun into a police station. On May 18, 2022, around 9:15 p.m., while investigating an attempted armed robbery in the area of Turnquest Avenue, Corporal Maurice Smith saw a heavily tinted Nissan Note speed past. Police officers stopped and searched the vehicle that was driven by Johnson. Her passenger, Dino Smith, was wearing an ankle bracelet as part of his bail conditions for armed robbery. The officers found $8,000 in Bahamian and American currency in a brown paper bag that was in the center console of the car. At the time, Johnson claimed the money came from the sale of a lunch van, but she didn't have any documentation to prove this. Both Johnson and Smith were detained on suspicion of armed robbery and taken to the Grove Police Station. Prosecutors did not file armed robbery charges. However, they both faced firearm possession charges after it was discovered that Johnson had smuggled a loaded handgun into the station. Johnson was convicted while Smith was acquitted. He was murdered last January. PLP Chairman Fred Mitchell says that 2 sitting MPs will not seek re-election. As he noted, the party is continuing its preparations. Mitchell said North Eleuthera MP Sylvanus Petty, who is also the Deputy Speaker in the House, and Michael MP Basil McIntosh have indicated that they won't offer again. The 2021 general election represented a significant victory for the PLP, with the FNM retaining just 7 seats. Former Prime Minister Dr. Minnis, the MP for Killarney, was replaced by Marco City MP Michael Pintard as the FNM's leader in a special convention that took place just weeks after that election. The FNM earlier this week announced that Minnis will not be ratified by the party for the Killarney constituency in the upcoming election. Meanwhile, former FNM Deputy Leader Loretta Butler-Turner says that the FNM's decision not to renominate Killarney MP Minnis is, quote, poetic justice, In an interview with the Nassau Guardian, Butler-Turner said that the same tactics used by Minnis to deny her and others from once being nominated is now being used on him. Overseas, China saying today it would fight to the end, their words, and take countermeasures against the United States to safeguard its own interests after U.S. President Donald Trump threatened an additional 50% tariff on Chinese imports. The Commerce Ministry saying the U.S. imposition of so-called reciprocal tariffs on China is, quote, completely groundless and is a typical unilateral bullying practice. China, the world's second largest economy, has announced retaliatory tariffs, and the ministry hinted in its latest statement that more may be coming. The ministry saying that, quote, the countermeasures China has taken are aimed at safeguarding its sovereignty, security, and development interests and maintaining the normal international trade order. They are completely legitimate. The U.S. threat to escalate tariffs on China is a mistake on top of a mistake and once again exposes the blackmailing nature of the U.S. China will never accept this. If the U.S. insists on its own way, China will fight to the end. Well, Trump's threat Monday of additional tariffs on China raised fresh concerns that his drive to rebalance the global economy could intensify a financially destructive trade war. Stock markets from Tokyo to New York have become more unstable as the tariff war worsens. Trump's threat coming after China said it would retaliate against U.S. tariffs he announced last week. But Trump, writing on Truth Social, quote, if China does not withdraw its 34% increase above their already long-term trading abuses by tomorrow, April 8th, 2025, the United States will impose additional tariffs on China of 50% effective April 9th. And he said, quote, additionally, all talks with China concerning their requested meetings with us will be terminated. And more than 260 people were killed during recent gang attacks on two communities in Haiti's capital. That's according to a report on Monday by the UN political mission in Haiti that questioned the delay in the response by authorities. The report notes that during the first attack in late January in Kenskoff, in the southern end of the metropolitan area of Port-au-Prince, it took Haiti's military police and a UN-backed mission led by Kenyan police roughly 5 hours to respond. The report said authorities had received information about the attack and that the delay possibly underscored a lack of alignment between Haiti's national police and the government. The UN mission said that the sequence of events in Kenskoff appears to indicate that the security forces did not initially take adequate measures to prevent the first attacks, nor to ensure the rapid deployment of specialized, despite reports of an imminent threat posed by gangs. At least 31 people were killed, 27 were injured, and some 70 homes were burned before security forces arrived and repelled the gangs, killing at least 23 gunmen. Later the same day, in the neighborhood of Carrefour, in the western region of the metro area, at least 30 civilians were killed in another wave of gang attacks. Overall, from January 27th to March 27th, at least 262 people were reported killed, and another 66 were injured in Kenskoff and parts of Carrefour. The attacks also revealed the inability of police to react to all the threats they receive and process them to confirm whether they're rumors or credible information that can be used to prevent an attack. In sports, the Bahamas will travel with as big a team as ever to Carifta, the Carifta Games over the Easter holiday weekend in Trinidad and Tobago, following a very competitive Spice and Connect B3A's Carifta trials. The B3A is the Bahamas Association of Athletic Associations, ratifying a 78-member team representing the country at the region's premier junior track and field meet. The team announced in the events hall of the Andre Rogers National Baseball Stadium Monday and will work out for a week before preparing to travel. Crifter Games set for April 19th through 21st in Port of Spain. You can read all about it, all the names, in today's Guardian Sports section. And Bahamian judoka Xavion Johnson surging to new heights on the international stage, claiming a bronze medal at the cadet and junior over the weekend. Competing in the fiercely contested 66-kilogram division, Johnson fought his way to a 4-1 win-loss record, securing third place and marking a major milestone in his competitive journey. Despite an all-round loss to an athlete from Cuba, Johnson rebounded with laser focus to secure that spot on the podium. That finished catapulting him to, from 41st to number 22 in the International Judo Federation's World Junior Rankings. Quite a leap in a short time. Johnson is now ranked at number 7 in the Pan American region. You can read more about it in today's Guardian Sports section. And the Bahamas Chess Federation announcing its national team for the upcoming 2025 Subzonal 2.3.3 Absolute Women's Chess Championships. It's going to be held April 11th through 18th in Trinidad and Tobago. It's a qualifier for the International Chess Federation World Cup. Details on that in today's Guardian Sports section. And did you stay up late to watch it? Florida's Walter Clayton Jr. coming up with the perfect going-away present. Crushing Houston defense had bullied, battered, and bedeviled him all night, helping the Florida Gators overcoming Houston's lockdown intensity and a 12-point deficit Monday night to a impressive down-to-the-wire 65-63 victory in the NCAA title game thriller, decided when the Florida seniors' own defense stopped the Cougars from even taking a game-winning shot at the buzzer. Clayton finished with 11 points, all in the second half. And the Florida Gators are the national champions in college basketball. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. First look at weather for today brought to you by Star General. We've got a moderate risk of rip currents in the southeast Bahamas and along Atlantic coastlines. Most of the country is going to remain under the influence of a weak surface ridge today as an active cold front is going to move in from the northwest with associated prefrontal trough making its way into the northern Bahamas later this morning. This active boundary is going to bring some unsettled weather in the form of scattered showers and thunderstorms by midweek. So by tomorrow, expect this change. As the front's going to sag southeastwards across the northwest Bahamas Wednesday, a weak low with is going to form along with the potential for heavy downpours and strong gusty winds. That front's going to then fall quasi-stationary near the central Bahamas by Thursday before moving into the southeast Bahamas by Friday. High pressure is going to temporarily build behind the front, providing some settled conditions after what we're going to see over the next couple of days. Then another reinforcing cold front arrives for Saturday. But for today, ahead of all of that, we're looking at partly mostly cloudy conditions today, becoming increasingly cloudy to overcast as the day progresses for the extreme northern Bahamas, including Grand Bahama. You've got about a 30 to 50% chance of isolated later this morning, increasing to 60 to 80% by late afternoon into tonight. Wind south to southwest at 10 to 15 knots with slightly higher gusts at times. For the northwest Bahamas and the central islands, we're looking at partly sunny conditions at first, becoming partly cloudy by late afternoon through tonight, and a bit sunnier partly sunny at least for the Central Islands. Only about a 10% chance of isolated showers this morning, but that's going to be increased percent chance by this afternoon for the northwestern islands. Winds southerly at 10 to 15 knots. For the southeast Bahamas, expect a mix of sun and clouds today, becoming mostly fair and warm tonight. About a 10% southeasterly at 10 to 15 knots. It's going to be a warm day in any event. Highs around 86 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 72, 73 Fahrenheit, 23 Celsius. We'll have more of what you can expect by midweek and later in the week into the weekend. Coming up in just a bit, this weather check brought to you by Star General Insurance Made Simple.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
It's time for a break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
As a healthcare professional, you dedicate your life to caring for others. But even with the best care, legal challenges can arise. Protect your practice and your peace of mind with medical malpractice insurance from Star General. At Star General, we've partnered with Lloyd's of London to bring you comprehensive professional liability insurance designed specifically for those consulting or practicing privately. Visit our website today so you can focus on what you do best, caring for your patients, while we take care of the rest. Star General, insurance made simple.
Looking to elevate your gadget game or a tech trouble simply slowing you down? Escape to a world of innovation at Custom Computers, your go-to store for the latest cutting-edge tech. Whether you need to upgrade your life with the best from Apple and Windows or your device needs a little TLC, the Custom Computers Know-How Store is the destination for unbeatable expertise and quality repairs. With 2 convenient locations, there's a Custom Computers near you on Patton Street in Palmdale and Caves Village, or call 396-1100.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
It's all fixed.
Thank you for coming on such short notice. The kitchen was almost flooded.
Happy to help. No disrespect, but you're writing a check?
Sorry. This was unexpected, so I don't have cash.
Then first pay me.
Awesome. That I can do. So, this bathroom tap needs a washer, and this one
For
over here-
quick transfer with just an email, mobile number, or QR code, use First Pay from CIBC Caribbean. Visit CIBCCaribbean.com/ways to bank for more information.
Planning for retirement can be overwhelming, but with CFAL, it doesn't have to be. We offer tailor-made individual, group, and pension solutions that take the guesswork out of retirement planning. Whether it's for you or your company, don't leave your future to chance and let the trusted hands of CFAL's experts guide you toward peace of mind and financial stability. Low upfront costs and affordable monthly payments make it easy for you to build wealth so you can live well. Visit COM to start on your path toward financial freedom. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Now let me see now. 326 ETIC. Hello? This Epic battery. This Miss Beulah from around the corner. I hear you're selling tires now on Wolf Road too.
Praise the Lord. It's about time. I live Fox Hill, and Fire Trail, it's too far.
That ain't all. They open Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. On Sunday and holiday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
My brother Sam, he's a hacker, and he could go right there and get fixed up.
Call us at 326-EPIC. We ship also to the Family Island.
Maybe it's time to explore your options. There's no harm in reviewing your mortgage arrangement and considering a better deal. CIBC Caribbean can help you narrow your search and decide. Switch your mortgage to CIBC Caribbean and enjoy a special interest rate and help towards your switching cost. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/inspired home for more information. Conditions apply.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
We are back with Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan, and we are joined by Duquesa Dean, as we are every Tuesday. Good morning.
Good morning.
Great to have you with us as always.
It's so wonderful to be here. I feel like I haven't seen you in forever.
I know, right? Right, because, you had a few Zooms, and then you were last week. So good to have you in studio. Good to see your face.
You.
All right, we have a lot to get to on this Tuesday morning. So we've been talking about this. The world-famous Valley Boys, the Registrar General says they don't have the right to that name. But they say they're going to press on. They're still preparing for Junkanoo. What does that mean? Wow. We're going to talk with some of the representatives today and try to get some answers about this. This is quite a situation, and it doesn't seem to be ending anytime soon. But we will see. We will see. And later, we'll talk about the Monroe Pinder Award. I'll tell you what that's all about. Really great story there. And then in business is our monthly series with Maison Bahamas. Today we're talking about staging, the importance of staging, and we'll take a look at the residential and commercial property of the month.
Exciting.
A lot to get to, but let's begin with what else is in the news. And in the news, the big headline in the Nassau Guardian today, positive outlook. Moody's hailing progress in the government's fiscal position. And that's good news. And the Davis administration definitely celebrating this. So a bit on what Moody's is saying here. Our Candia Dane's writing about it. So Moody's yesterday upgraded the outlook on the government's rating to the country, really. Rating to positive from stable, a positive development that was quickly welcomed by Prime Minister Philip Davis, who said, quote, "It tells the world that the Bahamas is regaining its financial footing and that the work we are doing is credible and impactful." Moody's also affirmed the country's long-term issuer and senior unsecured ratings at A. And then in the news, the big headline in the Nassau Guardian today, positive outlook. Moody's hailing progress in the government's fiscal position. And that's good news. And the B1, meaning that the Bahamas remains at junk status and is viewed as a high-risk borrower. The agency said the country has demonstrated meaningful fiscal consolidation over the past 2 years. It says the change in outlook to positive reflects the increased likelihood that fiscal consolidation will strengthen the Bahamas' credit profile over time, and that the government has already implemented a substantial fiscal adjustment, and their commitment to maintain large primary surpluses, thanks to revenue-enhancing reforms, increases Moody's confidence that debt will remain on a downward trend, below 70% of GDP by 2028 from 76% last year, 2024. So, positive signs there, and quickly the PLP issued a statement hailing this and pointing to this, but then it got all catty, petty, and political-ish. So, in the statement hailing the success of the Davis administration, it said the progress was made as a result of direct policy decisions, and that's quite possible. Then it went on to say, quote, while we are doing the heavy lifting, the F&M is busy tearing itself apart. They're not talking about how to help Bahamians. They're busy trying to get rid of each other.
Ooh.
No vision, no plan, just political infighting. Where is this coming from?
Right, why is it there?
Let's call it what it is. They painted a picture of doom and gloom. They said we couldn't manage the economy. They said we were taking the country in the wrong direction. They were wrong. While they argued, we cleaned up their mess. While they pointed fingers, we focused on results. While they sat still, we moved the country forward. Then the statement said that, quote, the PLP is in shambles. The F&M is in shambles. The PLP is putting in the work. And no matter how loud the noise gets, we'll keep our focus where it belongs, on you.
Well, it was an open door to take a stab, so they certainly took one.
Boy, I mean, if Moody's were to write like that, I think more people would pay attention to it.
Yeah.
That's very dramatic. All right, so there you have it. Hey, you can comment on that if you'd like. Give us a call, 323-6232, 325-4316. 354-259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. So speaking of the infighting, lots of folks giving their view on what happened with the F&M and former Prime Minister Dr. Minnis. They told him officially that they're not going to run him in Killarney. And so there's reaction pouring in. Some of the most interesting commentary coming from former F&M deputy leader under Dr. Minnis, Loretta Butler Turner, famous for that. Are we calling it a coup? When they split and ousted him as leader. Didn't work out so well. But after all of that, she was still a part of the party and was hoping to get a nomination, but it didn't quite go that way.
Right.
So what does she have to say about what happened to Dr. Minnis? Take a listen to this report from our Vani Katut.
Free National Movement led by Dr. Hubert Minnis denied nominations to 5 F&M members of parliament and rescinded then Long Island MP Loretta Butler Turner's nomination for that constituency. Butler Turner called the party's decision not to renominate the Killarney MP poetic justice. She added the former prime minister should have seen it coming.
Without question. And, just put it even the sharper perspective, Dr. Minnis and Michael Pintard were the ones that worked together to deny all of those individuals their nominations. It's almost poetic justice, isn't it? Deja vu. Michael Pintard is using the same script they used together when they denied it. So, it should come as no surprise to Dr. Minnis.
In December 2016, the F&M revoked Butler Turner's nomination 3 months after she was ratified as the party's candidate for Long Island. It was in response to a move by Butler Turner and 6 other F&M MPs who ousted Minnis as leader of the official opposition. Butler Turner, who became the male opposition leader, ran as an independent candidate in the 2017 general election. We asked her views on whether she thinks Minnis should run as an independent.
When I was denied the nomination for the Free National Movement in the last time that I ran, I then determined I would go as an independent. Obviously, it was a huge miscalculation. It backfired. I did not win. I was trumped, really, and so trounced, if you will. And so I think that, for anyone who is going to run as an independent, having sat as an incumbent, that's a decision that is made from a personal perspective based on the information that they have. And so I don't know what the success would be for him, but it certainly would create, in my mind, a divide in their votership on election day.
Voters have had mixed views on F&M leader Michael Pintard's announcement that he has asked Minnis not to run, with some praising the move and others predicting the party could lose the seat in Parliament as a result. However, Butler-Turner says while she is not privy to the inner workings of the F&M, from the outside, Minnis did not appear to be supportive of Pintard's leadership.
I do not know what is going on in the Free National Movement. As you well know, I am not a part of their inner workings or a part of their caucus or even a part of their party, really. And the fact that they have decided to deny that nomination to any of their candidates or their sitting MPs, in this instance, Dr. Minnis, I think they're doing it in the interest of their party. You cannot have persons within the hierarchy of your team that are working against you, and it certainly appeared that they did not have a cohesive working team, and it appeared that maybe Dr. Minnis and maybe others were a part of that was working against the leadership. So in that instance, I think they've made the right decision.
Last June, Minnis ran against Pintard during the party's convention and lost in the leadership race. Minnis has not yet responded to requests for comment. Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Vonnie Tu.
Okay, interesting comments there. Let's get your reaction to what Loretta Butler-Turner had to say. I do note that she mentioned that as an incumbent running as an independent, we do remember though that she didn't run in the seat that she was holding.
Right.
She decided to switch to Long Island.
Right.
So that's not exactly the same thing that would happen here if Dr. Minnis decides to run.
Right, because he would be running in his constituency.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But interesting. I mean, we the number of independents in the last 50 years has been
pretty low.
You could count that
Yeah.
on
Pretty low.
just a couple hands, probably. But let's get your reaction to it. This has happened before, and he did the same thing. He did the same thing to her. Right? And,
right.
Many were saying, well, how could you expect him to run her? She did
Which
this
is exactly
to him,
what she's saying.
Right? And that's what she's saying.
Yeah, she said you can't have it in the hierarchy of your team.
But it's even different. I mean, they had a convention here. It's
Yeah.
not like they had an uprising.
Right.
They had a convention. Well, after Minnis decided he didn't want to be the leader anymore, that he was going to step away. And they had this, and he was elected by Pintard, elected by the members of the F&M.
Right.
It's a different situation, and yet people are screaming, you know what, right? But look at that, and there was more reason to be outraged. Well, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say that. But anyway, let's get your reaction to it, folks. What do you make of it? I know we talked about this quite a bit yesterday, but let's hear based on the comments from Loretta Butler-Turner. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Bahamas. Good morning, Miss Bean.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Thank God for life as usual.
Good.
Look at that. That's Marla Butler granddaughter. Do you know if she's running this time around or she's still involved? Interested in politics?
Doesn't seem so.
Yeah, don't seem so.
No. I would like for her maybe to be not just a member of parliament to represent the Bahamian people, because I think she get the passion. Maybe run for her grandfather party, the PLP. When I hear Mr. Mitchell in the news, or I heard it reported that he was saying 2 members of parliament isn't running, I thought about the Macintosh man for Michael. I think he said something in the papers, but he wasn't running. Tell me something, Dwight. I know you might remember because you're a newsman. The late Bradley Roberts. Did he run? Did he run not Bradley Roberts, Hank Johnson. Did he run in the last election under Dr. Minnis? Why I say that? I think you might have an idea where I get not.
No,
Even
not
with
at all.
Bradley Roberts,
What do you?
Bradley-
What are you getting at? I don't.
Not getting at. What I was trying to find, I'm sorry, I used the wrong word. The late Bradley Roberts and Hank Johnson. I just can't remember, but Hank Johnson, if he ran in the last election, right? But after having, just like any of us humans, being involved with politics and being a member of parliament, public figure, they're getting either domestic affairs or something like that. Either they didn't run. I'm not sure if Hank Johnson didn't run, but I don't think Bradley ran any. Sorry, the late Bradley Roberts didn't run anymore. When I hear Fred Mitchell talk about two people he ain't running, I thought about the McIntosh man. I thought he would have said Abaco man too, but he said Naughty Lutra. He said Naughty Lutra.
Yeah,
Dwight,
this is so
I don't
far.
know.
I'm sure there's going to be more names like that soon.
You think Naughty Lutra is going to run?
I don't know, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there will be more names. I wouldn't.
You know, if you remember if Hank Johnson did run?
I mean, what? I don't remember, but I mean, why? What's the significance? I don't remember. I don't want to say anything too insulting, but
she should not run. Dwight, I don't know if you touched this yet or you talked about it yesterday. This was on your news last night, and they was talking about the tariff, how it can affect us here in the Bahamas. And this might sound crazy, or I might just be talking on my head like I guess I normally do. Some people think I normally do. The tariff sound like it's a good. I hear people say it's a bad thing. You can hurt us, but it sounds like it kind of shit good.
How?
I hear the crawfish man and the fish man, them who send everything away and make the big money. They were saying like how difficult it is when they don't do this work. It's like they wouldn't be making nothing. So then now they talking domestic, locally, the native. They can cater to us, the hotels and everything, you know. So I guess the fishermen, even on the island, who sell their things to the big fish, the fish companies, I wouldn't say hog up everything, right? Even buy up the crabs from crawling on the ground, right? And sell them over, right? They'll be more affordable for us. To, at least, how I say, accept to be able to get it when it wouldn't be shabby like how it was the big man buying everything. And they'll be selling it locally and we'll be able to get some of the lobster and crawfish on a good deal here too, and maybe open up some business. So the tariff sound like it make people them do more in their country for themselves. Like even with the farmers, them, if we could do some incentive to government to help them to grow more, that we don't be dependent on America or anywhere else to buy these things. Because some of the things we get, we ain't sure what really the ingredients in them will be put in our body.
Well, that's
like
a very interesting way to look at it.
On Glaston Farm, that's the thing we need to invest in them kind of people who manufacturing and making things right here. So the tariffs sound like we can be able to get them lobster and crawfish and group them on a maybe better deal. I'm sorry for the businessman. Keep up the good work.
Okay. Well,
Thank you.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah. What is it at? 10%?
For now.
Yeah.
I get where you're going with that.
Interesting.
I don't know if.
Interesting.
So a glut here on the market. Well, there are other places you can trade with. You don't have to, right? You don't have to go north. You could go east, south, you know, so it doesn't have to end up being like that, but I hear you. Okay, interesting. That's exactly what Trump wants you to start talking like.
But we do need more focus on self-sustainability.
Sure, absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's take another call. Good morning, you're on the air.
Hello?
Hi, good morning.
Morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
One thing, I wanted to make a correction for you, Dwight. Loretta Butler Turner was in fact the incumbent member for Long Island when she ran as an independent.
Are you sure about that?
As an independent?
Yes, she was the incumbent. She was the sitting member of Parliament for Long Island when she ran as an independent.
You sure she wasn't Montague and did
no,
the switch?
She was in Long Island.
Yeah?
If you remember, when she was leader of the opposition, she was the member of Parliament for Long Island.
Okay, I stand corrected if that is the case. Okay.
She was the incumbent.
Yeah, okay.
In terms of that context, though, Dwight, what I would like for you to do, and as we enter this political season, I would like for you to see if by any chance you can bring on someone that has a political science background that can speak directly to voting for third parties and independents and the whole thing that I've discovered is when you have, in particular, let's use America, for example, third party hasn't broken into their population, voting population yet. It's made quite a progress, but it hasn't made fruition yet. In our society, when you look at us also, we tend to do things in twos. We were taught from preschool, boys on one line, girls on one line. Saxons Valley, we think like that. And so psychologically, when you go into a voting box, societies tend to do what they're used to, which is red or yellow, black or white, one or two. And so it's going to be very difficult for us to, say, elect the third party in our country right now. But I would like for you to bring on somebody who has the acumen and training probably to talk more about it. But that's just my personal opinion on it. And so,
okay.
Yeah, wanted to share that.
Dwight,
the next
before you move on
from
about it. So, I mean, the thing about that, what you're suggesting, right? So, like you said, I think we defy everything that anyone would learn in political science here, right? Because people are not doing what people would normally do. They're blindly voting for anybody as long as they're wearing the right color.
The colors.
And I think if you could have 39 Jesus Christ running for a third party in this country, I don't think he's going to do very well. This is a very strange place, right?
Those colors run deep.
But we haven't had that yet. They've been nothing like Jesus Christ who've been running for the third parties, and so we don't know. So until we see a third party that actually is really serious with people who people know and are familiar with, I don't know if we can say they stand no chance. Right? It's hard. It will be hard to say. But we until that day comes when there is a legitimate third party with not folks who are questionable or associated with some other things that are untoward. I think we can't really say this yet.
So, Dwight, the next thing, that caller that called about the crawfish and stuff, Dwight, we could never consume as much crawfish as we sell to Red Lobster here in the Bahamas, in my opinion, Dwight. Mm-hmm. And so the whole notion of the tariffs being able to help us, our local economy thrive, I don't see where that would work out like that. I really don't see it, Dwight.
Okay, yeah, I do think that's what I'm saying. You're going to have to look at some other export markets to make that,
exactly.
To make that work.
We make a large percentage of our money in fisheries off of export.
Okay, thank you very much. Some text messages here. This texter says here, I can't read that one there. That's too much. Emerging from the pandemic, the economy was struggling. Meanwhile, the government boasts about being on the right path despite having a junk status rating. Well, that's been in place for a while. Bahamians, it's important to stay informed and not be misled by these claims. The country remains classified as junk status. Mm-hmm. Yes, that is the case, but again, that is significant moving from stable to positive. That is something to be
to recognize and celebrate.
To be celebrated. It does look like you are correcting the
so the needle is moving a little,
steering the ship in a positive direction. Sure. So there's no reason to be overly excited and no reason to be only
still sit and watch.
Yeah. This texter says here, why does the PLP's response to Moody's latest assessment of our current fiscal position sound like a playground argument? When it's negative, they picking on us, and when it's positive, the F&M destroy the economy. More importantly, why is it that Moody's current assessment is not reflected in the quality of life for the average Bahamian? Yeah, what is the quality of life for the average Bahamian right now? What are you saying? And then they're saying now the same text says Loretta needs some hot sauce for that salty.
That was funny. Sorry.
All right, so yes, people showed me concrete evidence that she definitely was the
she
for
was.
Long Island. Okay, so
she
again, that proves you
that
that Long Island, as long as you're wearing red. I think one time I remember they had an independent. Yeah. You get a point. Anyway, this person says here, when Moody's downgraded the Bahamas last year, we didn't see in the government press release how respected the international body was. Instead, we saw a deflection. We need that energy match in a few months after the Trump tariffs. Okay. Regarding Minnis not being nominated, I think it's a good move for the FNM. I'm a swing voter. I voted for 3 different parties in 4 times. But I come from an FNM house, so my natural bias is for the FNM. As a swing voter, Minnis makes me cringe. Minnis would not be able to get the swing voters' vote. How important is a swing voter in this election? Interesting question. This person says here, Minnis not getting the nomination opened up old wounds for Loretta Butler Turner, and the interview made it evident. Can't blame her for being a bit prickly about the situation. And Moody's is only saying the outlook is better, but we're still junk status. So the Prime Minister's happy about us being junk. Nah, come on. That's
No, when I read it too, right, I'm like, okay, yes, we're going to celebrate the positive, but we still have a lot to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we still have
everybody
a lot to
recognizes
do.
that, right? Don't read this on air.
Oops.
What do you think? You think I should read this on air?
It depends on what it is.
Show it to your co-host.
Oh.
I think I want to read some of this. I'm not going to read all of it.
Okay.
I don't feel sorry for Doc. He was in the background doing lots of nasty stuff to people. And then they have some names of who cuss out who at a council meeting.
Ochi.
And how he just sat there and did nothing. Oh, man. That's rough. It's rough.
No, but you didn't read all of
it. So when Moody's downgrade, I think we read that already. Yep. Okay. This person says here, the last time the markets went into a full-fledged fallout, thousands lost jobs in, this is in response to the caller, Papa, lost thousands of jobs in the hotels and in finance, the high-paying jobs at that, meaning less money in the economy. Under no stretch of the imagination can 10 people eating lobster be compared with the job losses and result in an assessment that a trade war and stock market decline is good for the Bahamas. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Everyone's correcting me. I need more
You
sleep.
have plenty fact checkers.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh boy. I need to tell them what they need. Anyway, is the tariff implemented for third world economies? We don't say those things, but he said all countries, 10%, including the Bahamas. We got 10%. 10% was the minimum for every.
Yeah.
Did you hear? He put it on an island that's only inhabited by penguins.
Right. You say everywhere, and he literally meant everywhere. But what I wanted to just, I wanted to. Like, did you read Who Moved My Cheese? It was a book that came out many, many years ago. And it was about, there were two mice, and one mice was reading the handwriting on the wall and was able to make, adjustments for the future. The next one was just scurrying from one room to the next. And I think sometimes we have to be that second mice who is like reading the handwriting on the wall and taking the clues that are given to you to decide, when it's time to gracefully exit stage left, right?
Yeah.
And there are just a lot of clues and indications that it may be time for some in the political arena to exit stage left. You can read the clues.
Yeah. Are you calling any names?
I talk about Dr. Minnis.
Oh, my
right?
goodness. Wow.
I'm talking about Dr. Minnis. It's nothing personal. It's just like, it seems like there's a lot. And if you just look through social media in response to, when he speaks or, activity. And with the moves that are being made and losing the bid for leader and all that sort of stuff, like at some point you have to pause. And I understand, yes, it's your political career, press ahead and blah, blah, blah. But you have to read the writing on the wall at some point and make that a part of your decision-making process.
Well, we were talking about this yesterday, and I know people pointing, and Loretta Butler Turner talks about it, and others have pointed to this, and I guess they're considering third party and independence in the same sphere there. But he might buck the trend. He might prove people wrong.
And I think he's loved. I heard that he is very loved in his constituency.
Well,
I don't live in his constituency, so
right.
I don't know. But it seems that he has support in his constituency, and so yeah. But
we know that.
How does an independent stand up?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Backbenchers and opposition members are very forceful in the House and can really bring up some things.
So he'll be tied to no one.
But
essentially.
that's he'll be working for the people in his constituency, and for us, the Bahamian people. If that is what he is elected to do, you need to have that voice out there, right? He gets a lot of coverage now, and he's already kind of in the wilderness. Almost everything he says is in the papers or gets news coverage. So what would be different? So we challenge him. Try it.
Yeah, I mean, try it. But
Let's
if your
see.
party doesn't want you,
This is bigger than party,
Yeah.
right? Isn't that what we always say? It's bigger than party? Or is it not?
It should be.
Oh, okay. All right, let's read some more messages before we have to take a break here. When is Fred Mitchell and going to exit stage left?
You need to read the
Also
writing
saying
too.
Prime Minister Davis. Wow. They're way past their due date in politics. Well,
Is
we'll
there a
see.
due date?
We'll see. If they don't win if they don't win their seats, then perhaps you could make that case. But if people keep voting them in, maybe they're not. Maybe they're not. This texture says here, please remind listeners that the leader of the opposition in the House doesn't mean leader of the party. Okay. Even if Pintard loses that title, it doesn't really matter. Minnis' time is done. He was a bad PM, and people cringe at his name to this day. The party will come together going into the election. Nothing new.
Plenty infighting. It's a lot of work to come together.
Dwight, I get some of these Bahamians when their party is out of power. They only want to hear bad news. They don't celebrate good news. We as Bahamians need to think as Bahamians, not PLP and F&M.
Good luck.
Oh my, continue to call in. We got a couple minutes for you. 6232-325-4316. 325-4259. Call us toll free. 242-300-5720.
So let's play a game of what if. So what if there weren't those two major catastrophes during his prime ministership, if you call it? Perhaps things would be different, you think?
That's a big what if, right?
Yeah.
But possibly.
There were two major, really catastrophic events that happened.
There were. It's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible.
And of course,
But I
people
mean,
didn't like being locked in their own yards.
No.
Yeah, that was a huge.
But the whole world was
Right.
facing that.
Yeah.
A few exceptions, but it was a rough time.
Yeah.
But
it was a hard time and hard decisions had to be made.
But the feel was still that despite all of that, there were little things that could have been done in the time that was left. There was no reason for this early election. We still don't really understand that, right? There were lots of things that you promised you could have done, that you were going to do, that you could have done in the 6 or whatever months left. And that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Why? Let's take these calls as we get ready to go to the break. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hi, good morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Progressive.
Morning.
Good morning. Thank you for yesterday. Appreciate it.
Hello?
Hi, good morning. Thanks for yesterday.
Yeah,
Appreciate
morning.
it.
So, Dwight, in my younger days, I used to be a student of maths, right? You know, that's what I consider seeing that I got a special credit in maths 8 years ago. You remember a couple of weeks ago, I gave you this price variation where one super value had a horse at 99 cents, then the other one had it at $2. Well, just this morning, the horse price used to come at 6 point something. Now they made them a bigger different. They made it bigger. They made them bigger by 9.7%, which is like a 33%. So how can a 33% increase move from $1 to $2? You understand what I'm saying? Some used to be 6.9. The horse now increased now to 9 point something. So by 33%, that value to increase something at $1 more, rather should it be at 33%? In other words, the horse should be $1.33, not $2, because of a 33% jump. So obviously, you know, obviously somebody ain't doing the math right, or they think the customers ain't aware of these price increases or how something is priced. So they need to justify how a 32% jump value 100% increase rather than a 32% increase. Come on, man. Give me a break.
I hear you.
Thank you.
Okay,
You'll
thank you
have a
very
good day.
much. Wow. Oh, boy. And this final call. Good morning. You're on the air. Hi, good morning. Are you there, caller? No, okay. This text here, one person saying that I enjoyed my lockdown. Oh, okay, I'm glad.
Hey, me too, okay?
Yeah.
Of course.
I
I'm
was losing
always home
my
person,
mind.
so it wasn't, nothing changed in my life.
My mind.
Why were you losing your mind? Because you're an outside person?
I mean, I don't want to be restricted.
Okay.
So if I want to be inside
Right.
for 3 days, that's me, right? But I don't want you to tell me that I have to be inside.
You were a little rebellious too. I hear it.
I don't want you to tell me what to do, what I can't do. Can't go outside at night, can't do this, can't drive here. No.
So we really don't think it saved lives.
I don't know about that. I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
But I was going crazy.
Okay.
This texture says they're running as an independent comes at a price. Literally, many don't do it because you have to spend your own money, and Bahamians are very tingsy.
They are.
Hey, we got to go to break. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
So sweet, don't think you understand. I go in to mash up the place every time I go by the farm. I always get drinking till I lose and I bet. Nobody gon' watch me if I care about the life spent. On the market set, drunk but I ain't missing a step. Man, if you ain't feel the vibe, then stay over there by yourself. When Reagan's great return, I can dance, I can sing, I can wave my flag. Reagan's great return, I can drink all the rum, I can kill my. When Reagan's great returns, I can dance, I can sing, I can wave my flag. When Reagan's great return, I can drink all the rum, I can kill my. Get him, Ricky! Just give me the Reagan's great, Reagan coming straight that way.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
I'm Haya Panjwani. Maybe it's time to explore your options. There's no harm in reviewing your mortgage arrangement and considering a better deal. CIBC Caribbean can help you narrow your search and decide. Switch your mortgage to CIBC Caribbean and enjoy a special interest rate and help towards your switching cost. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/inspired home for more information. Conditions apply.
Pinder is carrying a new line of tile, the Sky series of porcelain. It comes in 4 colors: Sky Noir, Sky Azure, Sky Gris, and this one, Sky Glance. In this particular tile, I think you'll find coin gray, silver gray, cloud gray, and gray. All of these are seamlessly blended to make the Sky Glance one beautiful tile. The Sky series of porcelain comes in 2 formats, 24 by 24 at $5.30 a square foot and 12 by 24 at $5.25 a square foot.
Some women know they boyfriend got 1 or 2 sweetheart, but she ain't freaking out because she got a white man. Some women know they husband got 1 or 2 sweetheart, but she ain't freaking out because she got a white man. Okay, first thing 9 a.m. The white boyfriend got a checklist, wait for you to come sign in. Then ask if you had breakfast. She probably gon' say no, even though her man cook a sausage, bacon, egg, and grits. White man made her forgot this. Lunchtime he gon' slide up, crack some joke inside her office. Compliment about her bongi, say that look like the softness. Now it's 4 minutes to 5. He say, come miss, let me hug this. Then smell a sweet perfume. She say, you know that I love this. So if she need a ride, right there, shoulder to cry, right there, 100 or 5, right there, an apple pie. So if she need a ride, right there, shoulder to cry, right there, 100 or 5, right there, an apple pie. Some women know they boyfriend got 1 or 2 sweetheart, but she ain't freaking out because because she got a white man. Some women know their husband got one or two sweetheart, but she ain't freaking out because she got a white man. Now here comes KJ, white boyfriend is getting frisky.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, Duquesa Dean. And this morning, we are going to have an interesting discussion with the Valley Boys, the world famous boys. And there's been quite a few developments over the past few days. The Registrar General making a decision that the name really should go with the Way Forward Valley Boys. So what does this mean for the group that's being known as the world famous Valley Boys? And this is confusing still for a whole lot of people. But joining us, we are very happy to have with us executive from the group, Patrick Adderley, and section leader, Wendy Bodie. Great to have you with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Bahamas.
Okay. So the Registrar General made this decision that you can't use this name. This is the name you've used for as long as you've been in, I'm sure, in Junkanoo. But so what does that mean? We saw a statement this week saying that you're still pressing forward. Patrick's laughing here. But you're pressing forward. You're still getting ready for the Junkanoo season. But plenty of people wondering how, what are you doing? What will you be called? What's the next step?
Okay, I'm laughing because, that statement is really laughable, right? What other name would you be known as other than Dwight Strachan?
Well, I'm sure some people would have some names for me, but what are you going to do?
How do you navigate that?
Look, the ruling speaks to NPO. It has absolutely nothing to do with what we've been doing as a Junkanoo group, our name and all of that. We still are the Valley Boys. We will always be the Valley Boys. And we intend to be the Valley Boys on Bay Street and the Valley Boys that the Bahamian public has came to love and respect over the years.
All right, so Duquesne and I were talking about this off here, right? So if I recall Tesla Cybertruck, but that name is registered, and a ruling comes down that you can't call yourself that. You can't go on Bay Street and rush the Tesla Cybertruck. So, wouldn't that be a problem?
No, it wouldn't be a problem because NPO and business license, they are two separate entities, okay? The Valley Boys has had a business license for many, many, many years. We're a founding member of the JCNP. And one of the criteria of being a member of the JCNP is that you have to possess a business license, tax compliance certificate, a registration number. And we've been in possession of those. Like I said, the JCNP has been in existence for 20 years. And so we've always had those documents, and that is what we've always been known as and will continue to be known as. We are the original Valley Boys. We're still here, alive, vibrant, and getting prepared to do what we do on Bay Street.
So what's the name on your business license, the full name?
Valley Boys.
Just Valley Boys?
Yes.
Okay.
The Valley Boys.
And what type of license is it? Is it like home-based? Is it like what classification of a license?
Now, all of that, you're getting into a realm that's a little bit above my pay grade, right?
Okay. But there is another group. You're saying that, but there's another group that says they are going to call themselves that when they come to Bay Street as well.
What governments do, we have no control over.
Right.
And so they can call themselves whatever they wish, all right? The public will be the judge, of course, will see a clear distinction between who is the original and who is...
So who are you? Let me just be clear so I understand. You are the original?
We are the original.
So you are, that's what you are. You are going to be as the original.
The original.
And they are going to be as... what the way?
Well, they're not going to do that, though. They're saying they want to drop that. But so are you going to still say world famous? Or you're still going to say
that? That is our name.
You're going to still say that?
We've been carrying world famous for years. Because Cooper was alive. We've been known to use that because we are world famous. Persons, celebrities, You know, Ocho Cinco has always picked up the Valley Boys. So we are on the international market. That's why we call ourselves world famous and have been doing that for many years. It's not that it's something we just started.
Okay,
We've always been known to be world famous Valley Boys.
We're going to pick this up on the other side. We're going to go to the news break and pick this up. I've got a whole lot more to ask you about. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with DeQuesta Dean, and we continue our conversation with the world-famous Valley Boys. We've got Patrick Adderley and Wendy Bodie with us this morning. Okay, so before the break, we were trying to understand this, the requirements of the JCNP. You don't need to be an NPO. Is that right? Explain the JCNP rules for us.
Okay.
I know you're treading lightly, Patrick, but you can do this. You can. So wait, before we go on, so is this still a legal matter? Is this still before the courts right now?
Yes,
and what is the court? What is being sought? What are you trying to determine? What is the court case all about?
Dwight, we talked about this, Dwight.
Tell us what you can tell us.
What we can tell you is that this is ongoing. Okay, we're trying to bring some resolution to this whole fiasco, and we are committed to the excellence that we have always portrayed on Bay Street. We left it up to the courts to bring a resolution to it. And the JCNP, on the other hand, has its rules, and we will leave the other end up to it to determine who is what. Okay? But, we're excited about our future. We're certainly headed in an upward trajectory. We're preparing for the parades, and we have two exciting themes on deck. Themes that kind of encapsulate what we've been going through.
Oh boy! Wow!
And so we're looking forward to our presentations, and we want to thank basically the members that have supported us through all of this turbulent times. The sponsor, Walker Industries, we thank you for sticking with us. Section heads, Wendy is one of them, and these young people, they have been the the gatekeepers for the world famous over these turbulent times. And so we want to thank them. We want to thank the fans and supporters. I know the public through social media has echoed, their disgust of this whole situation. It's been going on for far too long. And all of the public pronouncements, the back and forth and all of that. And so we apologize to the public for this. This is not our way. This is an internal matter that just spilled out into the streets by no fault of ours, the world famous. And so we apologize to, like I say, our fans and supporters and the general public for it.
So we know the other group is saying that if there could just be some elections, this could all be resolved. Where do things stand with that? I know the last time Brian Adley was on the show, he said that they were trying to register folks to find out who is indeed a Valley Boy member. But is it likely that an election could happen anytime soon?
Well, what we have done is that we have actually gone past that now, and we have established what we call a membership committee, and that's headed by one of our young and up-and-coming leaders of the group, and that event is actually working. We've had any number of applications for membership. It is going well. In terms of elections, we're restructuring the management team. Presently, we have 17 members that make up the management team. And so we've decided that we're going to expand it, promote some people, if you will, onto the management team. And once we have completed that process, then we'll go into elections. Because one of the criticisms was that the pool of persons that decided on the leadership was too small.
Okay.
And so we've begun that process of actually expanding that. And once we've completed that, we will hold the election.
How long do you think that process is going to take?
Well, like I said, that process has already started. And so I would imagine that will be done this year.
Okay. So is there any possibility, sorry, Dukas, that members from the other group could take part in this? Is that a possibility?
The way that the group is structured now, members from the other side, they would have to register as members. They would have to go through the membership process, and the section heads will vet who they allow in, and they will be a part of the group like they always have been. We welcome all and sundry to register. Like I said, it's out, it's working, and very, very active. We have a very quick process in terms of vetting.
Yeah, what does that entail? What does vetting mean?
Well, based on your application, it is actually directed to the particular section that you apply to, and they have their own internal means of vetting you, and basically they say yay or nay. As a management team, I mean, we're basically just a rubber stamp. The sections, we've delegated that authority to the section heads now.
Is it possible that somebody from the other side could be a part of this? I know it's been very contentious. Lots of terrible things have been said.
Listen, they are brothers, you know. I'm sure you have some family members that did you wrong or not, felt differently from you. I mean, look, these are Valley boys that has made great contribution to the group over the years. And we can't dismiss their contribution, okay? And so we welcome one and all to come and apply. And, we just had he applied to come back. We accepted his application. It went through the section that he wanted to return to, and it was a seamless process. We welcomed him back with open arms.
He had been with the Way Forward group?
Yes,
Yeah?
yes, yes.
Okay.
So the people on Bay Street in the coming parades will all be registered members only of the group.
What do you mean?
I mean, like everyone that's coming on Bay as world famous Valley Boys will have gone through your membership process and be official members of the group.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then
That's the
secondly,
intention.
I also wanted to find out: are they the voting members? Like, is there a nomination process for the leadership, and do these registered members then vote for the leadership, or how? What does their membership entail? Is their membership really only to the section that they're in, or do they have rights to vote for the overall leadership?
The way that the Valley Boys has always been structured has been structured where the management team, the management team is where the leadership or the chairman of the group emerged from. The other side, their contention was that members should be a part of this process. In order for members to be a part of the process, you have to determine who is a member.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
And so we have heard what they said. We heard where members were actually lobbying for that. And so we have started the process now to officially register members.
Right.
Okay.
All right, so we only have a few more minutes. I want to take a couple calls, but it is possible. I mean, if this isn't resolved, so we might likely see two different Valley Boys this Junkanoo season. Is that what we're saying here?
Yes, you may possibly see two different Valley Boys.
And as Wendy was pointing out during the break, that we've seen that before with Colors
and Colors Entertainment.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay.
But that it really is very confusing.
No, it's not confusing because, like I said, one would be the original Valley Boys, and the other one will be the new Valley Boys.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let's take these calls really quickly. We only have a few minutes. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning to Quessa. Good morning, Patrick, and my beloved Wendy. How you doing? You know, I take exceptions to Patrick Andy, who came from the Saxons calling me Paper Valley Boys or New Valley Boys. I was in the Valley Boys from 1974. If I put a question to him and Wendy, none of them would know. You understand? They wouldn't even know. They knew Valley Boys in there. That's why they laughing and then falling over their feet. You understand? It's people like us. They're parading themselves as 1950, 1958. There was a Pioneers, a group called the Pioneers, headed by Edward Fitzgerald. And Gus didn't come on board until 1960. So what they need to do before they come on is get their history correct. You understand? Brian himself was not elected. Brian was handed the group dictatorship style as an interim chairman after the first duly elected chairman, Michael Foster, resigned. So he was handed that as an interim chairman. So he was never really elected. You understand? And I can go on and on and on. But Patrick, those are what they're doing because our name is now trademarked, registered to the members. What they are doing, Dwight, is setting themselves up to be held in contempt of court. That's a very serious thing. Thanks for taking my call.
Okay, right. So how do you respond to that? Because you say the JCNP requirements are very different. You're not out there saying that you are an NPO as the Valley Boys. You are, but still, I mean, as I said with the example earlier, I mean, it's unusual for somebody to be using a name that is registered as something else. Even though you were doing that before for many years.
It is very unusual, Dwight. And like I said, some things we have absolutely no control over. Okay. But this whole issue, this whole circumstances is very unusual, to say the least.
I just think it's very confusing for me as not attached to any party to realize that there are two groups that have businesses. For me, that's very confusing. Because usually once you have a license in a name, whenever somebody tries to use a name, even if it's similar, that's denied. So I am very confused about how you guys could be holding a license, and then they could be holding a license for or whatever they have for a similar name. That's very confusing.
But it begs the question on how that procedure was even allowed to happen.
Right.
Wow. Okay. I got to ask about seed funding before we take this final call. Did you ever get it for the season that just passed?
No, we never got the seed funding.
No.
And in spite of not getting the seed funding,
We
we
still
were
were
still
there.
able to make a powerful presentation on Bay Street both Boxing Day and New Year's. And
Produced the Valley Bride and
became
Stand Up.
third on both mornings.
Any explanation as to why you have yet to receive it?
Have yet to receive.
I mean,
no
or didn't receive
explanation,
it.
no official explanation. It is our hope. It is our hope that the government would find it in its heart to give us what is due to us.
It's very confusing.
Because we followed all requirements as needed to get those seed fundings from the government. And
Well, their reason was that they didn't give us the seed funding because we had the government in court.
Oh.
The court matter is now finished
Still, yeah.
for the most part.
hopefully-
Yes.
So
and
hopefully,
so hopefully
yeah.
they will find it in their heart
Can
to.
do one more question before you wrap this segment up?
You want to take a call first? And then-
Sure.
Yeah,
do
let's
that.
take this call really quickly. Caller, you're on the air. We're running out of time. Hi, caller. Good morning. You are on the air.
Yeah, great as usual. How you doing?
Doing well.
Yeah, just a quick question for your guest, right? Why you all doing this to Bahamian people? The reason why I'm asking this is, right, people only go to jumping on the sea, Saxons and Valley Boys. And also, how did it get to this point where the y'all could make amends as a team? You realize, right, since y'all break up, that the Saxons can only win. Ain't no way in this world y'all can break up and separate as a group and win Junkanoo.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Well,
in response to his statement, he will be surprised this upcoming Boxing Day. He'll
I'll
be
also-
very much surprised.
I'll also like to respond in terms of the caller's comment. Often Saxons winning, so it could be the same thing. It's the same process, same procedure. Once you bring what you need to bring to Bay Street, that gives you everything you need to win, you can win the parade. So together or not together,
but the question will be which one of you in this scenario is the Saxons and which one of you is the Genesis.
Right, because at least there's
I don't
different
mean to be
names, right?
insulting right now.
Not
I'm just
two-
saying.
not two-
which
two of the
one?
same
Okay.
name.
To bring this in perspective, right? Don't forget now, when we were together,
we were still losing.
we were still losing. Okay? And you will find
I don't know if this is a good argument.
Right, that's powerful. So,
you
wow.
We're not
will
missing
find,
anything if you look at
you
it.
will find that, like I said, these upcoming parades, you will see a very, very different world famous Valley Boys.
Indeed.
Well, we hope it works out. We know this is exhausting experience for the public as well. I'm sure for all of you. There's still time for everybody to
No, that time is past.
Wait, what you said that they could come back.
you said they could come home.
Yes, they can.
But before we go,
The
like,
members of
we
the
never-
Valley Boys are open to return home to the world.
All
famous.
members.
All members.
Okay.
Yeah. But there is no coming together of the two entities because they are two separate organizations. We have two business
and
licenses.
we honestly don't like how things has turned out.
Yes.
The slander, the public attacks, the distraction. The group is focused on Bay Street, and that is where we are going. Bay Street.
To win, actually.
I mean, it's not. It's okay.
Yeah, okay.
Because I know we're crunch on
Okay.
time.
Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. This is. I know some people thought that after we heard what happened with the Registrar General last
Right.
week that it was over, but it seems like it might just actually be near the beginning still. But thank you for giving us
We
the
press on.
update. Patrick Adderley and Wendy Bodie with the world famous Valley Boys. Thank you for being with us this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Okay. Again, they couldn't answer a lot of questions because it's still a matter before the courts. So We will see. We will see. Thanks. All right, we're going to take a break. We got a whole lot more to talk about, including the Monroe Pinder Awards and our monthly series with Mace on Bahamas in business. And this is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Let's face it, life is hard, but your healthcare doesn't have to be. Give yourself peace of mind with LAMP plans at Doctors Hospital. Sign up today and enjoy the low-cost advantage. Get up to $5,000 in credit limit for non-covered services and 2 free nutritional consultations. Choose your plan today by visiting doctorshosp.com/lamp. We make healthcare easy.
Ricardo, my hair is almost done. Could you pick me up? I got my nails done too, so walk with a little extra money?
I'm almost there. Forgot the extra money, but you know, happy wife, happy life. Looks like the salon has first pay. QR code scanned, funds sent, paid.
For quick transfer with just an email, mobile number, or QR code, use First Pay from CIBC Caribbean. Visit CIBCCaribbean.com/ways to bank for more information.
Here's the sure-winning art store moment from Shelley and Dee Dee.
We're the only full art store in the Bahamas. If we don't have it, we make a list, and trust me, our boss can get that. If you need that, he can get that. You can find sketchbooks, acrylics, the canvases in all sizes, stencils. We have the Angelus that they use on shoes and letters. We're the only persons in Nassau that carries the Montana spray. We have the Krylon sprays, watercolor and paints, the oil, chalk paints, the alcohol paint, metallic paints, the little Floetrol, and we have cleaning products for the artists, thinning products for the artists, and Crayola colors, and glitters, pencils, the Posca markers, and pastels, oil, and the acrylic pastels, dyes. Oh yeah, we also have airbrush paint. I didn't forget that part of the movie. Gift sets, hobbycraft,
Oil shrimp,
clays.
stew shrimp, shrimp gumbo. But art supplies. We have a lot of them. Sherwin-Williams Art Store. Find colour in every day.
This April, Duncan is spreading awareness and support for autism awareness. Did you know that autism affects 1 in 54 children? It is so important to show our support, and you can show your support by grabbing a signature blue donut from any Duncan location during April. Join us in raising awareness and support for REACH and the Seahorse Institute. Duncan, fueling communities 1 blue donut at a time. The Bahamas runs on Duncan.
In the world of business, technology is not a choice. It's a necessity. And for businesses that demand excellence, there's only one choice for unparalleled support and cutting-edge technology. Custom Computers. You have challenges and we have solutions. Computing, networking, storage, and printing for enterprises large and small, aligned with premium brands like HP, Microsoft, Konica Minolta, and more. Get tech done the right way with Custom Computers. Call the know-how team at 396-1101.
Do you have uncontrollable debt? Are you ready to make that move to Fidelity for a stress-free future? These loans have a built-in savings plan that pays you interest. Ask about our debt consolidation loans today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Southwest Plaza has so many stores, I've been trying to find a sensible way to list them all. There's CBS Bahamas, the Ashai Institute, BENC Snack World, Bamboo Shack Bahamas, there, the Athlete's Foot, and BTC, It's Alive, Bahari, Dairy Queen, 700 Wines and Spirits, Sandy's Clarkson, Island Luck, Starbucks, and Lowe's Pharmacy, plus Marco's Pizza and Lorraine. Southwest Plaza, what a wide array of stores. Southwest Plaza, stop by today and explore.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. And at 8:46, it's time for your final look at weather for today, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. We've got most of the country under the influence of a weak surface ridge today as an active cold front presses in from the northwest. And the associated prefrontal trough is making its way into the northern Bahamas later this morning. And the active boundary will bring some unsettled weather, with showers and thunderstorms for the northern and northwest Bahamas through to the middle of the week. So as that front sags southeast across the northwest Bahamas, by tomorrow, a weak low is going to form along the frontal boundary, and that's going to mean the potential for heavy downpours and strong gusty winds. That front's then going to fall quasi-stationary over the central Bahamas by Thursday before moving to the southeast Bahamas by Friday. High pressure is going to build behind it, and then a reinforcing cold front's going to arrive by the weekend. And so we're going to be up and down quite a bit over the next few days, but temperatures are going to remain relatively stable over the next few days. So for today, as that front moves in for the northernmost islands, conditions becoming increasingly cloudy to overcast by this afternoon into tonight. A 30 to 50% chance of a few isolated showers this morning, increasing to 60 to 80% by this afternoon, this evening. And look for that to continue into tonight. For the rest of us, for the northwest Bahamas, including New Providence and the Central Islands, partly sunny today, becoming partly cloudy to cloudy by this afternoon for the northwestern islands. Mostly fair and warm for the Central Islands tonight. And a mix of sun and clouds for the southeast Bahamas, becoming mostly fair and warm tonight. Temperature is going to stick around 86 degrees Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius for highs. Overnight lows tonight getting down about 72, 73 Fahrenheit, 23 Celsius. In your extended outlook, the changes are coming. So Wednesday, cloudy to overcast in the northern and northwest Bahamas, a mix of sun and clouds elsewhere, a high percentage of rain, a high percentage chance of rain and thunderstorms for most of us, northern, northwest, and central Bahamas tomorrow. By Thursday, partly mostly sunny in the northern and northwest Bahamas, partly cloudy in the central and southeast Bahamas. Rain chances still pretty high, thunderstorm chances high as well. And by Friday, a mix of sun and clouds during the day, fair and mild at night. That's your morning blend weather check, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. Are your walls giving major L? Well, time to fix that at your nearest Sherwin-Williams paint store. They've got vibrant colors delivered with professional vibes. Done listening? We'll start glistening with Sherwin-Williams paints. And your final look at traffic for the morning, brought to you by RBC. With RBC, reaching your goals happens here. We've got a couple of hot spots to tell you about. We've got Milo Butler Highway, as usual, heavy traffic from well south of the Fire Trail roundabout straight up to Tonic Williams Darling Highway if you're heading northbound. Blue Hill Road also seeing some very slow-moving heavy traffic from St. Vincent all the way up to Independence Drive, especially north of Carmichael. And Independence Drive is backed up in both directions, especially eastbound at this hour. And East Street and Soldier Road, that intersection not looking pleasant for you if you're heading northbound on East Street or eastbound on Soldier Road. Straight through to near Old Trail, you're going to be seeing some heavy, slow-moving traffic both directions this morning. Old Trail is backed up from Soldier straight up to Robinson, and Robinson, you're parked basically between Prince Charles Drive and Soldier Road all the way up to Marathon Road. Soldier is going to be busy for you well into Bernard, Wolf, and Village Road, the intersection there. And then there's Eastern Road, heavy traffic just west of San Souci up to Johnson Road. And we're seeing some slow-moving traffic on West Bay Street into downtown just east of Arawak Key. Good luck this morning. That's your Morning Blend traffic, and your Morning Blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC. Your ideas happen here.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with DeQuesta Dean. And this morning we are talking about the Monroe Pinder Awards. Here to tell us all about this, very pleased to have with us Pastor Rick Dean and Dr. Richard Adderley. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
I got to say, Rick Dean, I remember you when I was a kid on ZNS. You were in,
Did you have the age?
Yeah. I won't forget that voice, and you were inspiring me from then. Good to have you with us on the show this morning. Really wonderful. Okay, so the Monroe Pinder Awards. Tell us about this. This has been around for a little bit, but for those who might not be familiar, what this is all about.
Okay, so in 2014, we had the passing of Pastor Miles and Pastor Richard Pinder, who were very instrumental in the formation and support for Family of Faith Ministries. So Family of Faith Ministries, where I'm a pastor and Richard is also a board member, we decided we wanted to do something that would keep their memory alive. And so we formed the Monroe Pinder Awards. At that time, we were planning to have them every other year. So the first one actually occurred in 2015. And fortunately, I guess, Richard's daughter actually won the first one, And so after that, we decided to move it to a higher level, if you will, move it beyond Family of Faith Ministries and get other people on board.
Okay.
So we registered it as the Monroe Pinder Charitable Trust in July 1st of 2019. And so we've been having it every year.
Every year?
Yes.
Wow. And so far you've given lots in awards. Tell us about that.
Yes, absolutely. We've given quite a considerable amount over the years, over 52,000 over the years so far. At first, we were having one person who won the award. Then we moved it up to 3. Last year, we actually added an additional award. So right now, the first place winner would get $6,000, second, $3,500, third place would, and we added a new servant leadership award, which is $2,000. So we're growing and we're moving forward.
Yeah, that's
so
beautiful.
How do you select awardees, or if someone's interested in applying, is there a process?
There is a process. Applicants submit applications online. Right now, we're looking at 12th grade students in high school and first-year students in university.
Okay.
And this is why we're here today, because we want to push it. Now,
you've got a deadline coming up.
Yeah, we got a deadline coming up. But let me tell you what we're facing. Young people don't seem to have this sense of urgency to get their applications in, or to understand the value of $6,000 or $3,000 or $1,500.
Wow.
And so,
what do you think that's about? What's happening?
Well,
and is this a new phenomenon, or is it?
Well, no. We'll see. We're used to our parents footing the bill. You see, we just pack up and go to school.
Right.
So we haven't really had to be concerned about school fees. And so our appeal today is to those parents who are listening, because if you're a parent, if like me, and having to send 3 children to university, every cent counts.
Yeah. Right.
And so I'm appealing to the parents who are listening.
Right.
There's this scholarship award that's out there, and it can be used for anything related to university.
Okay.
So it's not just for school fees.
Okay.
Now, if we think in terms of the government grant that's there, it makes so many young people eligible because they just have to be enrolled full-time and maintain a GPA.
Right.
But we also know that in addition to tuition, there are lab fees, the computers, that you need. There are lots of study resources that you need, and that is the reason. But to a parent.
So how stringent is the process of applying? Because we're also into PGCSEs and kids are studying for exams and stuff like that. So is the process a stringent one? Are documents required? Like what needs to be submitted along with?
We ask for transcripts.
Okay.
We ask for certificates. There are persons who want to know if I will not have final grades until after the deadline.
Mm.
Our suggestion is to get the application in and send in the official transcripts at the end.
Okay.
We're also looking for some other things like extracurricular activities, and also if you've done any type of leadership.
Right.
Okay. So persons in
awesome.
high school who are in charge of student government or assisted with the debate team, we're asking you to build this sort of CV and send it in. And so it's relatively easy.
Okay.
And most schools now are preparing students for college from 11th grade.
Right.
So you should have this sort of portfolio
Right.
on hand.
Right.
And we're saying upload it, send it in, let's go with it.
So can the schools make application, or does it have to be the student or the parent? Like if a school has an outstanding, well-rounded person that fits what you need for this, can the school put the application in?
I would suggest that the school work with the student and put the application in.
The student has to go online.
Yeah.
The student themselves has to go online and fill out the application. Okay? So just let me take you to the next step. Once the applications are in after the deadline, what happens to a selection committee of esteemed persons, academic persons, who then filter the selections down to about 10 persons.
Okay.
And then the Monroe Pinder family makes a final decision.
Okay.
Because actually what we want is the person who earns this does so because of academic standing and all of that, but also our character, right, is a concern for us because they are carrying the name Monroe Pinder Award winner, right? And so we want them to recognize that they are following the footsteps of these two esteemed persons whom we are honoring.
Yeah. So you're still doing 4 this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Four.
Yes. And I think the question brought up a really, really interesting point because the guidance counselors in schools, I think this is a job for them that they can identify persons in their, in their school programs and say, look, Mary, here is an award because they're always looking for ways to help students.
Absolutely.
So let me say also, we've had applicants from the Family Islands, which is very promising. As a matter of fact, we've had 2 winners from Cat Island.
I love it.
And 2 from Grand Bahama.
Awesome.
Yeah. So does it matter if it's a local institution or foreign?
It has to be once they are Bahamian.
Once the person's Bahamian, it doesn't matter where you're going for tertiary.
It's 12th grade and then first year of college.
And we've had a number. Most of our winners have gone abroad and are doing extremely well.
Great.
Excellent. Yeah. Excellent. All right, so let people know again the application, the website, and when the deadline is.
Yes, okay. So presently the deadline is going to be next week, the 18th, okay, Friday midnight. And they can go to the webpage is the MonroePinderAward.org. The MonroePinderAward.org. You can email us at monroepinderaward@gmail.com, or if you need further information, call me please at 364-2788.
Okay.
Okay. Right. And we can get that information to you. Really want to encourage persons to apply.
So next Friday is Good Friday. Still okay.
Midnight Good Friday.
Well, at least you might have some free time on the day. You might, so that might help you. That might help you.
And positive thinking, think of it as a good Friday.
There you go. There you go. That sounds like it. All right. So one more time, give us the website.
Okay, the website again, the MonroePinderAward.org.
Okay. And all the information that you need.
It's right there. The application is there. All the other information is right there.
This is great stuff.
It is. It's really great.
Glad to hear about it. Keep up the great work that you're doing. Pastor Ricardo Dean and Dr. Richard Adderley. Great talking with you this morning.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right, we're going to break for news and be back with business in just a bit. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
First I was Matthew Gas, I was a taxi driver. Now tourists don't really know our country, how this thing go. A car coming on the other side, between the seat they won't hide. Look out, they shout with discontent.
We think we have an accident. Say we driving on the wrong side. By the law, we don't abide.
I meet him at Penda, and I meet him in the showroom. I said, Penda, I just come out of a showroom in Portugal, and let me tell you something. Damn showroom and selection ain't got nothing on yours. Man, I like this stock of porcelain and ceramic tile you got here. What I really like is the range of sizes that come in. 8 by 48, 12 by 24, 24 by 24. And what I really, really like more than the things I really like is the price. From $275 a square foot to $494 a square foot and all in between. You can't beat that. Not even with a 2x4 from Enterprises.
What if I told you Wendy's has a new burger? With a flavor so secret, it's almost too delicious to handle. Well, now it's time to unlock that flavor. Try the new sweet and smoky barbecue cheeseburger. We can't tell you everything, but we can tell you that it's packed with flavor, including our secret barbecue sauce. Try the new sweet and smoky barbecue cheeseburger today. Available for a limited time.
It's time to upgrade the way you enjoy at-home entertainment. Alive Fiber is here. Enjoy all your favorite channels and streaming apps, all at lightning-fast internet speeds with affordable bundles, and it's only a click away. Visit www.alivefiber.com to sign up now. Stay connected, live your life. It's good to be alive.
All those loans I had were so overwhelming. Fidelity's debt consolidation loan combined all my loan payments into one easy payment with a built-in savings plan that pays me interest. It's time to make that move to Fidelity. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas. Views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Tuesday, April 8th, 2025. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with DeQuesadine. Having a great morning this morning. A lot of different things we've been talking about. This morning, it is time for a monthly series with Maison Bahamas. And this morning, we're going to be talking about the importance of staging. And, of course, we will have our monthly residential property of the month and commercial property of the month. As usual, that's coming up. But we'll begin right now with your morning business report. Your morning business report brought to you by CFAL. The Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association has joined the long list of organizations lobbying against the United States Trade Representative's proposed plan to charge Chinese-built cargo ships $1 million with the CHTA, the Caribbean Hotel Tourism Association, warning the U.S. trade body that its plan would ruin Caribbean tourism and increase unemployment in the region. The CHTA letter to the USTR explaining that the Caribbean is already one of the most expensive destinations to travel to and would be unaffordable if the $1 million port fee is imposed. The statement says that, quote, layering additional input costs through higher costs for imports will negatively impact tourism-dependent revenue and employment in the U.S. and the Caribbean. Higher operating costs fueled by 5 years of inflation are impacting profitability, with 34% of the Caribbean's tourism-related businesses operating at a net loss in 2024. It says that higher costs will contribute to business failures and lower imports to the region. Caribbean residents and the U.S.-based Caribbean diaspora are major contributors to respective economies, and higher costs will contribute to a diminished two-way travel. The CHTA has called for exemptions for Caribbean countries ahead with imposing these new fees on Chinese-made ships, explaining that a good trade relationship with the U.S. is mutually beneficial to both parties. A former senior Inter-American Development Bank and Caribbean Development Bank executive, Therese Turner-Jones, saying during a seminar hosted by Org Bahamas that the lack of hotel rooms in the country constrains the jurisdiction's potential. She's urging further diversification of the economy beyond tourism. Turner-Jones discussing the Bahamian economy's post-pandemic recovery, highlighting a 1.5% GDP growth rate and a debt-to-GDP growth rate, a ratio decreasing from 100% to 60%. She's emphasizing the need for better fiscal transparency, improved procurement practices, and strategic investments in infrastructure and digital transformation. The Grand Bahama Development Company is developing an investor policy in order to get more Bahamians to invest in Freeport. That's according to DevCo's Senior Manager of Sales and Development, Charles Pratt. Pratt saying during his presentation at an investor forum that it's understood that Bahamians' access to capital is not as great as a foreigner who might come to Grand Bahama looking for opportunities. He says that's why DevCo currently has under development a policy that could level the playing field for Bahamians hoping to invest. Read about that in today's Guardian business section. And as the senior manager in the investment department of the Securities Commission, Gawain Ward, telling Guardian Business that the Creators Alliance multi-level marketing scheme is under investigation and the people behind it can face summary conviction and fines up to $100,000 per incident if found guilty. The Creators Alliance scheme collected thousands of dollars from Bahamians, promising them a return on their investment if they watch certain videos online. Ward saying, quote, if you market or advertise a scheme or you invite or recruit anyone to join or participate, then you become liable on summary conviction for a fine not exceeding $100,000. He says people think that it's only $100,000, but no, it's $100,000 per offense. And if you find that you've done this with 3 people, you could face offenses up to $100,000 per person. The SCB is addressing the issue by educating the public and further investigating the matter. There have been only anecdotal reports of financial losses related to the scheme, such as one individual who said on social media that he invested $3,056 and received only $300 in return. Overseas, world shares and U.S. futures advanced Tuesday, led by gains in Tokyo, where the Nikkei 225 shot up just over 6% and markets settling after the shocks from U.S. President Donald Trump's tariff hikes. Japan's Nikkei newspaper reporting today that U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent would lead trade negotiations with the country, which has been buffeted by an escalating trade war kicked off by Trump. Such negotiations are typically led by trade representatives. Tuesday's rebound followed a wild day on Wall Street, where stocks careened after Trump threatened to crank his double-digit tariffs even higher. On Tuesday, China's Commerce Ministry said it would fight to the end and take unspecified countermeasures against the United States after Trump threatened another 50% tariff on Chinese imports. And And Middle East stock markets tumbled as they struggled with the dual hit of the United States' new tariff policy and sharp declines in oil prices, squeezing energy-producing nations that rely on those sales to power their economies and government spending. Benchmark Brent crude is down by nearly over the last 5 days of trading, with the barrel of oil costing just over $64. That's down nearly 30% from a year ago, when a barrel cost over $90. That cost per barrel is far lower than the estimated break-even price for Saudi Arabia and most other countries producing energy in the Middle East. That's coupled with the new tariffs, which saw the Gulf Cooperation Council, the states of Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates hit with 10% tariffs. Other Middle Eastern nations face even higher tariffs, like Iraq at 39% and Syria at 41%. Closer to home in your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Monday. Your market movers: APD Limited moving 50 shares, closing at 44.64 unchanged. Bank of the Bahamas moving 200, unchanged at 450. Commonwealth Bank moving 41,433, down 15 cents to 485. Doctors Hospital moving 1,600, unchanged at 550. Focol moving 4,000, closing at 610 unchanged. Consolidated Water down 15 cents, closing at 468. Emira Incorporated down 33 cents, closing at 1013. The BISX All Share Index closing at 3,028.33, down 0.63. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report, brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. We'll take a break and be back with more Morning Blend Business right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
At CFAL, we understand that a secure future is the greatest gift you can give your employees. That's why our tailor-made group pension solutions are designed to fit the needs of both large and small companies. With CFAL, you can provide the retirement you and your employees deserve, ensuring peace of mind and financial stability for years to come. Join the many businesses that have already pension planned for their employees, and let us help you build a brighter future for your team. Visit us at cfal.com to get started on building wealth so you can live well. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
You try to rest, but roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers, for window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it. Just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
With RBC,
your ideas become plans.
Your plans become memories.
This is retirement.
And your dreams become your life.
whether it's planning that family vacation, owning your dream home, or retiring comfortably, your ideas are everything. And RBC is here to help make them happen. With RBC, your ideas happen here.
Now let me see now. 326 EPIC. Hello? This Epic Eckert battery. This Miss Beulah from around the corner. I hear you're selling tires now on Wolf Road too.
Praise the Lord. It's about time. I live Fox Hill and Fire Trail. It's too far.
That ain't all. They open Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. On Sunday and holiday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
My brother Sam, he's a hacker, and he could go right there and get fixed up.
Call us at 326 EPIC. We ship also to the Family Island.
Hold on to me as we go, as we roll down this unfamiliar road. And although this wave is stringing us along, just know you're not alone. 'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home. Settle down, it'll all be clear.
We're back with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with DeQuesta Dean, and it is time for a monthly series. We always look forward to this with Maison Bahamas. Back with us as always, Suzanne Black, and we have with us Kristen Harding. Good morning. Great to have you with us.
Good morning. Wonderful to be here.
All right. Well, it's always a pleasure, Suzanne. Kristen, nice to meet you. All right. So we're going to be talking about staging for the most part today.
Yes, sir.
And the importance of that. And then, of course, we've got the residential and commercial property, right? Of the month. Well, we got two properties.
Two properties anyway. Now, these are both high end, but Kristen, being the expert on this, is going to explain that it really applies to everyone. And as I mentioned to her when we came in, and she laughed at me, I don't know why, Shakespeare said, all the world's a stage, and all men and women merely players.
Oh, my.
And the speech is in a play by Shakespeare called As You Like It, which Bahamians like to hear. We all want it like we like it. And it compares the world, which includes the Bahamas, of course, to a stage and life to a play, and reflects the reality that we are all visual beings. Let me repeat that. We are all visual beings. We forget that sometimes. And the better we believe something looks to us, the more valuable to us. That's staging in a nutshell. So as it applies
you're good, Suzanne.
Yeah,
you tied this all into the topic today. That's very classy.
But let me just say, it's single-family condos, multifamily. Kristen can deal with all of those, and we can help people. And if I may say this, I think it works not only for who may come to see one's home, but it helps the owner of the property and how they see themselves.
Yeah. All right. That's a great way to kick this off, Kristen. I mean, I was thinking about it. Like, if you're selling a car, you're not going to have the backseat filled with all your clothes and your shoes and all your papers. You're going to try to make it look presentable, right?
Exactly.
So it's the same thing with a house. You can't have everything just out there for people who are looking at the property. But let's get into it. Why is it so important to stage it? And then we'll get into the basics and the principles of staging.
So staging, I mean, perception is reality, like Suzanne said. When you consider you want to sell something to someone, especially when it comes to a purchase like a home, you want to make sure that you are not just selling the home, but you're selling the idea of what their life looks like in this home. People are going to buy off of emotion. They want, how does this space make me feel? So if you're bringing someone into a house that you've put no love into, it looks, it's kind of like a dump. You're just throwing it out there. You're going to get that kind of a response from whoever is looking at it. So staging, when you
lower offers, if
absolutely
no offers, right?
Absolutely. And so that is why you want to go in and you want to make sure that you are presenting it in such a way that you are attracting the buyer, the person who has the money that you want for that space.
So from what I heard you say is that the staging of the home is not, or should not be like personal preferences, but it should be designed to attract the client. So you have to have an idea of the client or the value of the client that you want to purchase your home and stage it to suit that. Is that
correct? What would they want out of this house? How would what is their lifestyle demanding from them to have in this home? Like, is it a family where the husband, he works? Are you thinking about someone who doesn't go into the office every day? He's a businessman. He's probably single. So all these things you're keeping in mind. How are you going to stage? Who is your target? Are you going to be targeting wealthy families? What do their lifestyles look like? What are the things that they like to see? What kind of color palettes do you see them even just wearing? All these things, there's a psychology to it.
Or even if they're not there, they could say, well, this is where I do want to be. So
correct.
Yeah, exactly. It's what one wishes to become. And one thing, though, one shouldn't get too uptight about it when one is doing it. One of Kristen's jobs, if I may use that term, is to help people feel at ease with what they're doing. Because when they're at ease, they're going to be happier letting Maison Bahamas, and I think we've mentioned that Ryan Knowles is the founder and the CEO, let Maison come in and work with them and then say, here's something we would suggest.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's about it. What you would give suggestions, or you'd give the company suggestions on
we
how to
did it with a
stage
client
it?
of mine, for example.
Yeah, so what we've done is we've created essentially a brand outside of Maison, but that is very complementary in that when we have clients who come in, they want to sell their homes, but they know that they don't know how to get the most money for it in the current state. We come in and we actually assist them with that.
Wow.
So we provide that service, whereas we're going to give them a design concept. We're going to help them to budget out how to make that come to reality. And then we're going to list it for them.
Yeah.
We're going to sell it for them. And maybe we even get the owners to come and say, well, hey, continue some other things.
So I have a question. So that you come into a place and selling it, every wall is purple with glitter on it.
We're not selling that.
Yeah.
So we're changing
would
that.
you recommend that and will you go and will you paint it over?
Absolutely.
Would you?
So think about it, right? How many
Get a little closer to
people?
that
How many people say? How many people say to you, or how many people you know right now are in love with the color purple? I mean, I know I love purple. Purple is my favorite color, but not everyone.
It's the artist in you, Kristen.
Right. So I like purple a lot. And actually, purple is the color of royalty. You could look it up.
Yeah.
So anyway, there are colors that people are more connected to, that more people like. One of them, especially in the Bahamas, is going to be blue. You're going to see a lot of properties that have blue in it. Why? Why is that?
But this is a light blue, though, right?
Like the water, turquoise, or
a lot of that, but just still any shades of blue, right?
Look at the studio.
Right.
Oh, thank you, Dwight.
Case in point. You know why, though? It's a calming color. It's a color that most people actually feel like when they're in that space, they feel relaxed. It's more of a happy color. Yellow also a happy color, but one of those colors. Whereas I like to say either you really love yellow or you really don't love yellow. But you try to stick to using ideas and concepts that more people will actually be attracted to.
The majority.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be purple with sparkle on the wall.
Right.
Yeah.
And may I just interject, though? One of the things I found out working with Kristen, I got an education, of course. Life is a learning curve, is that she presents essentially an a la carte menu. And we don't eat everything off the menu.
Okay.
We select. Her job is to help you select and within your budget.
Yeah.
Okay.
Budget count.
How open are folks to your suggestions? Are they
extremely open because I have a track record. So this is something that I've been helping people with for more than a decade.
But sorry, now I'm going to be the doubting Thomas, because I know people out there listening and saying, but everyone. Don't you run into some people say, no, man, I'm not.
Some people, yes.
It does happen,
And mostly, though, that is tied to the fact that they're not in the position financially. And so they sort of stray away from it, which is understandable. And those persons, I encourage, hey, listen, if you're not in a rush to sell and you want to get the most money for it, just do it in stages.
Right.
Maybe do the painting now. Maybe change out the sofa in a month's time or 2 months.
Right.
But do something.
So-
if your goal is to actually sell and get the most money.
The word I like very much, she introduced me to, was tonal. Make it more tonal with the bedspread and some cushions.
What does that? Explain what that means.
There you
All
go.
beige everywhere.
No, not actually.
No?
No. Just okay. When you start with a space, you want to have a color palette in mind. Yes, and so everything. Once you start with that, and you have your color palette. What happens is
that's the colors you like. Let me just
the colors. Yeah.
you have a deeper tone. You're gonna have some lighter tones, but those help with all of these tones. It's like this harmonious environment. Granted, some people do like a very monochromatic, bland space, but I find that is not the style that most people are drawn to. Most people like to see a nice harmonious mix of colors. Yeah.
So do you, for the person that may want your services, this is a two-part question, do you provide a blueprint that they can self-execute, or if they are unable to financially purchase the items that you suggest, do you have items that are rentable that they can use in their space?
In a lot of cases, persons can come and just get the information, get the advice, get some steps. So do you have to come and buy everything I told you to buy? No. But you will have, like you said, some kind of a plan. Find things that are similar. We did a project for a property recently, and the owners were getting they were being, completely, totally lowballed. They were getting like $900,000 offers on their home, right? We went and we suggested, hey, let us do some staging in here. Let us do some light renovations. We did the painting and things like that. Changed out some furniture, minimal, mind you. They ended up selling for 1.95.
Wow.
So it can make a difference.
Yeah. So $1 million.
How much did it cost to do the changes you made?
Nominal, very nominal. I won't say because I don't want to give anybody any ideas.
I will say there is a set fee, but it is nominal.
Okay. In comparison to making an additional $1 million.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
If it's got to be $1 million.
Right. Right.
The point is to grow in everything. So when Kristen works with our clients, or I was reprimanding our sellers, I guess I should say. Yeah. When she works with them, part of what she does is help them to educate themselves onto what is possible. And frankly, if it were my place, if there's something I really don't want to do, I wouldn't do it.
Right.
But one can generally find that most of it, once one understands, it's almost like common sense.
Yeah.
It's just common sense is not so common in everything. That includes selling homes.
Yeah.
So we know how this goes with home ownership. You're there for 5, 10, 15 years. Suddenly you have 3 times the furniture you had from the time you moved in.
Oh, by the way, you cannot rent furniture in the country as far as I'm aware. Is that correct?
Oh, you can't? You can't?
You can't rent furniture?
No.
As in it's not allowed?
No, I mean, is there a firm?
Oh, no, you can't really find that. No.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought there were like event places that offered furniture for rent.
But here's the thing: people are they are so much more now in tuned with what is happening globally, like just in terms of design and everything. Right? We're exposed. We don't all have the same. Furniture from Furniture Plus or whatever the sets, wherever we used to get them. We don't all have those matching sets
Although we
anymore.
may have. I don't want to knock my old friend.
But a lot of people have strayed away and they're really they're looking at designs that are global,
Well, the point I was making is that some people have way too much furniture.
Right.
So what tips did you give to folks when you walk into a very...
So when staging to sell, decluttering is a huge part of that, and that is the initial stage.
Yeah.
The initial stage is to declutter and to depersonalize, because when we come in and we do the photography, we want the person who wants to buy this home to see themselves. They, even down to family photos, we don't encourage that. That's something that you keep up.
Or your Colgate toothpaste in your mouthwash.
Right.
No one wants to see
Put that away.
Right, put it away.
Right. So we're not gonna photograph that way. And so the actual first step is to get the homeowner, especially if they are living in the space full time, to begin over a number of weeks, days, whatever their timeline is, to begin decluttering, depersonalizing, putting some things away, because they are going to now get into the act of selling this home.
What are some of the things you recommend you put away that you don't necessarily
anything personalized? You don't want to see a ton of things. You don't want to see crazy glue and
you may not have to move my teddy bears. I mean,
yes. Just really
creepy dolls.
Exactly.
Clutter.
Exactly. Just clutter. You want it to be nice and just free flowing. Truly, so that when persons come in and they look around, or even just looking at the photos, they can say, "Wow, I can see myself here." They're not distracted by you and your grandmother's photo on the table in some intricate frame from 1960.
And let me just say, we normally see what people require from the point of view of notice for showings. So some people will say, well, we're not here, we're going to be traveling, show it any time. Or some will say we need at least 2 days.
Okay.
We work with our sellers and fit into their time schedule. Is that fair?
Absolutely.
Right.
So if you have someone listening right now who is interested in decluttering, staging, all that sort of stuff, and they don't have the resources, and they may want to do 2 of 5 rooms or whatever, what are the more important rooms that you would suggest?
If they're considering to sell.
Interesting question. Yeah.
So I will tell you, what I suggest is you focus on the person who's spending the money. Where are they going to be in this house the most? And that's where you put your time and your effort. So where's that? That's the primary bedroom. They're going to sleep in that room. So you want to really make that nice. Yeah. The living space, where are they going to hang out the most or lounge around, watch TV? That needs to be nice. And when you walk inside the door of when you bring clients in to see the space, that first point of entry has to be nice.
What about kitchens? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, can there be rooms that you don't allow folks to go in when they're...
No.
Because I can't imagine.
It's
with
not
It's
that you can't allow
It's
them.
that they may not be as staged as the other room.
Okay.
Or not staged at all.
Yeah.
Some people they're building with the intent to sell. It's an investment, right? And so once they're finished with the build out, then it's just an empty space. They don't have furniture. Nobody's lived in it. So that person, they may not want to take a hefty budget out to go and stage the entire house, but they do want to, I suggest, stage the spaces that the homeowner, the person who is spending the money, are going to be living in the most.
And one of the important rooms for some people, particularly for, let's say, gentlemen or single ladies who like to cook, and don't look at me because it's not my thing, but then
definitely
you
kitchen.
want to do the kitchen.
Yeah, the kitchen is
Kitchens
important
are
for
a
me.
challenge sometimes
Yeah.
because we have a lot of things, a lot of bottles.
Right.
Yeah. So with the warning, you just put them in a closet, shut the door.
All right, so with the warning, I remember years ago when I was looking, there was a room. We couldn't go in there because the pets were in there.
Oh, yes.
Like, is that
pets
something? That's
can be-
just kind of very annoying.
Yeah, I feel like if you're asking someone to put an offer in on a house, I need to see what's really going on in this
Right.
house. Like I want to see where the pets are. I would not deprive you of seeing the rooms.
Would you say
But that's my opinion.
that staging can camouflage?
I already know what you're asking.
Well, answer me, girl, because I tried to figure out how to say it. But can staging camouflage negatives in a home?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, remember though, that's really not
Think of the
negative
makeup,
in
right.
the home, though. No, may I just interject here?
correct. Cut it for me.
No, there's really no thing as a negative. There's the thing is taste.
Okay.
So
That's a diplomatic way to put it.
Yeah, that's a diplomatic
But
way.
Crystal's going to
with the
something
taste.
scary because sometimes you know how this is.
listen,
When you
but
take
what
off
she
the
was saying is
makeup,
true.
when you take off the makeup, it
It's
can
the
be-
reality, right? Okay, women, we have marks on our skin, but when we put on a good foundation, who can tell us?
Right, flawless. Right.
Oh man, you're really getting wide here. Being one of those.
Who can tell us? So
Right.
can it mask? Yes. I think it can mask, but I also think the things that you do improve, the focus is so much on those things that you almost don't see them. So is it really camouflaging it, or is it just taking your eye away from those things? Yeah.
Yeah, and also it helps to have a skilled, I have to say this if I may, skilled real estate person showing the property.
Right.
Because there are times you have glitches, things don't go quite right.
Absolutely.
So the real estate person should then step up to the plate and explain the situation in a way that's acceptable to the person viewing the property.
Yeah.
I had it happen.
That's life.
The reason
That's
I
life.
asked,
But this is the potential, right? See how
that's
how
right.
great this could look?
yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
because I had it happen to me when I purchased my house. I did not realize that the master bedroom didn't have a closet at all.
Wait a
It was-
minute.
it was- I didn't. It was
Truth
like,
is out, Dwight.
Yeah, it was like
Is that a master bedroom?
bedroom and an attached bathroom and everything looked so beautiful.
You didn't
I did not notice. They had like an armoire, which isn't really a closet, but you could put. So I ended up having to construct the closet in the room, but I totally missed it
Wow.
because I was so caught up in the spaciousness and the functionality of the room and what it would be when I move in and blah, blah. And when I moved in, I'm like, okay, where are you going to put your clothes?
I wonder, how did you feel about your real estate? Did you work with the real estate
I
agent
did
there?
work with a real
I would
estate
be inclined,
agent.
now this is me, to point that out and then explain what could be done.
Right. I would that would have been very
That's what they,
valuable.
that's what they do at
Right.
HGTV.
Because if
They
you
tell
liked
right?
the property, it's not going to stop you from purchasing.
Correct.
However, you would have a higher opinion of the agent, I
Yeah.
dare say. Would you think that's fair,
Absolutely.
Kristen?
I do
There you
agree.
go.
Yeah, be honest, right?
Yeah.
I do agree.
Exactly.
All right. So, any other final tips you want to give to people, Kristen?
No, I mean, just, if you're really going to, if you want to sell your property, just do it right, do it well. It's going to benefit you. Small things. It doesn't have to cost a lot. You can do as much. Some people may do more, but do something to just elevate it a bit more.
At
Because
least clean it, right?
Come on.
At least clean
And
the
that's
place.
a no-brainer.
No, you
that should
think
be a
that's
no-brainer.
apparently not a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I saw some places I couldn't believe it.
No,
don't
honestly.
say that.
But you know what? It also, no offense and no disrespect, if you're working with a realtor who cannot say to you, hi, we need to do something here and sort of direct
And
you.
we have cleaners we can bring in for you.
They are doing you a disservice.
Exactly.
They are not actually looking out for your best interest.
They are not.
And they are giving you a subpar, mediocre service. Because you're in it together with your real estate agent. You know what I mean? They're supposed to, if they're selling for you, they're supposed to be getting you the most money.
They're part of your team,
Yeah.
basically.
Okay, and if they're looking to help you buy something, they're supposed to be trying to negotiate the best price. So yeah.
Oh, one more question. So vacant lots. Do you need to do anything much with that? At least
No.
clean the virtues or
but a little bit. Don't have if there's a lot of garbage and junk on it, you're going to want to move it. So that extent. So if I may say in closing that it's staging is what one would call a highly and I got my training too before I came in. It's a highly effective marketing strategy that can add real, tangible value to a listing, and through it's called curated spaces, Masons curated spaces. It's about presenting the home in the best possible light for the best possible outcome. How's that?
Absolutely.
That's it right there.
Excellent. Okay, so we got a couple properties we're going to highlight this month. Let's get into it. So what are we looking at?
Well,
we know we have. You want to start
Madam
with?
was involved in this. I'll pass the sheet to her.
Yeah.
I always bring my crib sheets. You know me.
All right. So what's the first one we're going to be looking at?
So these would be properties that we would have done some work on.
Yeah, these have been sold, but we can use them as examples because
so
we don't
I-
mention the owners. Yeah.
Right. So one of them would have been a 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath condo.
Okay.
So again, staging it's going to work no matter what kind of property, single family, condominium. There's something that can be done there. And what we did was we just did a little bit of painting. We switched out some furniture. It can be so minimal. We switched out like dining chairs. They had all wooden dining table and chairs. We just softened it because they're on the beach. We wanted to feel like a real beach house. We changed the slip cover on their sectional. We didn't
Not the
change the whole
sectional,
sectional.
right.
So think about it. Changing a whole sectional, you may be looking at $5,000-$6,000 depending on the quality, the brand. And in the case of that, I think we spent about $700 to get a brand new slipcover made, and now it looks like a brand new sofa.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, funny enough, with this one, the owner he doesn't live here. He lives in the U.S. And so when he got the photos of the final product, he calls and he says, "Did we get a new sofa?" And I'm like, "Sofa, we got a new slipcover."
Yeah. Okay.
So that one 3-bed, 3.5 bath, very just minor cosmetic things that were done. That one sold for $1.5 million. And then the other one that I spoke about earlier, which was the single family home whereas the owners at the time, they were getting the lowball offers. You heard what happened there. They ended up making an additional $1 million.
Right.
Yeah. So
how much bedrooms was that one?
That one was 4 beds and 4 baths.
It would be if it's a bigger property, but nonetheless, the same principle applies, small or large.
Right.
Yeah, clearly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, so these are all gone already.
So
You can't-
yeah, those are
Yeah.
gone. And guess what?
Sorry, Dwight, you can't buy that one.
With the both of them, they went on the market, and in less than 10 days, they had their buyers.
And you would say that staging had a big part to do with it.
I definitely believe.
Mind you, let's be fair now. It's not always going to happen in 10 days.
Right.
But one will improve one's chances of selling sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
But the one that you had done the staging to that was getting the low ball offer, how long had it been on the market before?
I'm telling you, before the staging,
staging.
they hadn't officially put it on the market. They were putting it out there that it was for sale, and they got a lot of people coming to look at it just off of that. And they were like, this is what we're getting. That's not enough money. And so that's when we said, well, list it with us. We're going to offer you, we're going to provide you this service. all in, and we're going to get you more money.
Yeah.
And that's what we ended up doing.
Have you had a situation where you stage it and the people say, well, we didn't know it could be this nice. We want to take it off the market?
Oh, they said that. Hold on.
We want to take it off the market.
The wife, listen, at one point I was a little afraid. She was like, I think I'll just stay here. She was like, you made it too nice for me. I think I'll just stay here.
But I know we talked about residential homes or, the condo living and stuff like that. How does this apply to when you want to rent a space? Like, you have commercial properties. And so if there is an office space or, other types of commercial spaces, does staging apply to that as well?
It can, depending on how you're actually renting the space. If you're renting the space with the furnishings, then it can.
Yeah, in other words, ready to go.
Right. But
Yes.
but even if not, you can also just seek out some advice on what are the color palettes that are going to be most attractive and what kind of businesses do you want to be in here. And we put paint on the walls and other finishes and fixtures that actually are going to attract those kinds of businesses.
Okay.
Yeah.
You do staging for outside as well, and
All the things.
Everything.
All the things.
Oh, yeah.
Everything that makes home beautiful or makes a space beautiful, we stage all the things.
Yeah,
Okay.
in the property I referred to earlier, it was a question of perhaps putting in an outdoor rug in the enclosed patio, trimming the sea grape tree. I love sea grape as hedges, but they needed to be trimmed. A new umbrella, I think you said, possibly some chairs, if they were going to go the route of doing that.
Right.
And that would have made a big difference.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Excellent stuff. All right. So if people want more information about what you do, Kristen, and more about the properties, what do people need to be doing?
They can reach out to us at Maison Bahamas. Right. They can go to our website, masonbahamas.com, send in an inquiry, and we will get right in touch with them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
People ask you if you do interior and exterior design.
Yes.
You do that
Yes.
in addition to the staging as well?
Yes.
Oh,
That
okay.
we're actually working with a client now who he purchased some apartments from a little condo, a little rental or a villa, so to speak, and got a really good deal on it. And now he wants to renovate it so that he can start to rent it out. So yeah. So again, we build a relationship with you. Especially for people who want to invest. They want a really good investment. Come to us, get to know our agents. We'll point you in the right direction, find you the right property, and then we have the team in place to actually help you make it ready for the market to then start to make you some money.
Excellent.
And may I just add, we don't just sell something or help our clients buy something or our vendors and so forth. We stick with them.
Yeah.
So if things come up, they've already bought the property or they sold the property, they can come back to us, and we do our very best to assist them. Yes?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Wonderful stuff. Learned a lot this
Yeah,
morning.
thank you so much.
Kristen Harding, Suzanne Black, thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Look forward to...
Kristen and I were pleased to be here.
Yeah,
Yes.
a lot of fun. We'll talk again soon, hopefully next month. And we're going to take a break and be back to wrap things up. This is Morning Blend Business. Thank you to Maison Bahamas for being with us this morning. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back.
As we roll down this unfamiliar road, and although this wave is stringing us along, just know you're not alone, 'cause I'm gonna make this place your home. Settle down, it'll all be clear. Don't pay no mind to the demons, they fill you with fear. The trouble, it might drag you down. If you get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone.
You work hard for your money, so let your money work hard for you. With as little as $1,000 to start, you can watch your money grow by investing in CFAL's Bahamian dollar and US dollar mutual funds, each tailored to match your unique investment profile. Our expert advisors are dedicated to crafting personalized investment strategies to help you achieve your financial goals. Don't miss out on the chance to earn higher returns on your hard-earned money. Join the thousands of investors who trust CFAL and start your journey toward financial freedom today. Visit us at cfal.com to learn more about our saving and investment options. And let us help you build wealth so you can live well. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Now let me see now. 326 ETIC. Hello. This Epic Eckert battery. This Miss Beulah from round the corner. I hear you're selling tires now on Wolf Road too.
Praise the Lord. It's about time. I live Fox Hill and Fire Trail. It's too far.
That ain't all. They open Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. On Sunday and holiday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
My brother Sam, he's a hacker, and he could go right there and get fixed up.
Call us at 326 EPIC. We ship also to the Family Island.
You try to rest, but roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers. For window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it. Just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Our final few minutes of Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Straw along with Duquesa Dean. And all right, so I just want to go a little deeper into this. I hadn't heard much about this Duquesa before a couple of days ago, but apparently this has been a big thing in the country. A lot of people heard about this. So this Creators Alliance thing. So our Yuri Kemp writing about it today in the business section. And you heard it, we did it in the morning business report. But a senior manager in the enforcement department of the Securities Commission of the Bahamas, Gawain Ward, telling Guardian Business yesterday that the Creators Alliance multi-level marketing scheme is under investigation, and that the people behind it could face summary conviction and fines of up to $100,000 per incident if found guilty. So the Creators Alliance scheme has collected thousands of dollars from Bahamians, apparently, promising them a return on their investment if they watch certain videos online.
That is a dead giveaway right there.
You would think. But okay. I mean, oh boy. Anyway, so Ward says, quote, if you market or advertise a scheme, or if you invite or recruit anyone to join or participate, then you become liable on summary conviction for a fine not exceeding $100,000. But people think that it's only $100,000. No, it's $100,000 per offense. Wow. And so if you're found to have done this with 3 people, that could become 3 different offenses for each person, so it could add up. Play. So SCB is addressing the issue by educating the public and further investigating the matter. There have been only anecdotal reports of financial losses related to the scheme, such as one individual who said on social media that he invested $3,056. What do you have to invest if you're only to watch or something?
Right.
I don't understand. You got to pay. You got to pay to watch it?
You get paid to watch it, so why do you have to invest to watch to get paid? Just watch and get paid.
Well, he invested $3,056 and received only $300 in return. So Ward says, quote, the best defense is offense. In other words, if you inform yourself and you make sure you are aware of whoever comes to you, you can tell them no, thank you. or some other words, maybe.
Right.
He also said, I cannot say at this point who started it. We have no idea as to who might be involved in this, but we can't get involved in that discussion in the media at this time. But that is something we are looking into in terms of who's involved. It's something we are aware seemed to have started outside of the jurisdiction and made its way here. And the person's promoting this now that it's here, they can become liable to criminal prosecution. So, the scheme uses stable coins like USDT or Tether for investments. Another warning sign there, right?
Right.
What is that? Huh? The Creators Alliance scheme asked individuals to invest and then bring more people in to invest and to watch videos.
Right.
Individuals are paid per view, and the payment is not made in Bahamian or U.S. currency, but in cryptocurrency.
Red flag.
Oh, my God. How do people keep falling for these things? I don't understand.
I don't know.
This is Ward again saying, quote, this is basically an MLM scheme where you get persons in under you and they're encouraged to get persons in under them and so on and so forth, building itself out. These things, they are finite because in a country like the Bahamas, there are only so many people that will get involved in this. And so at some point, that pyramid scheme is going to collapse. Bahamians need to be cautious on anything of this nature, especially with the persons coming to them and saying that they can make money and all they need to do is give them money. Be very careful of arrangements like that. Maybe I need to go on the street and say, hey, if you give me some money, will that work?
It will work. And
no, you think that will work?
It will work.
It will not work.
It will work. Dwight. Dwight.
Because...
of course it's going to work, right?
Okay, so the average person, though, cannot go on the street, hey, you, pal, give me some money, and then I can guarantee that you'll get some more money.
Yes, they can.
See, now you're proving that everybody has a problem here. Because I was going to say, if it wouldn't work like that, why would you think it could work like this?
Yeah.
But you're saying that could actually work.
If you have someone that you trust and they say, hey, I made $500 by doing this, and you're my friend, I want you to make some. If you okay, I could very well see that happening. But if you just stop for a minute and think, first of all, those get-quick-rich schemes don't really work. And you giving your money away to someone who say they got a certain amount, is there proof? How deep do you go outside of a conversation? So ever we're poised to make this quick money, then we make mistakes like these, right? You have to look into what someone is offering. Seriously.
Wow. Really disturbing, but I'm more shocked at the number that keep popping up. It's like every year, every other year.
I remember
they
were on the radio. They were on the radio last year.
That was for a different one.
Talking about the schemes, though, and giving you all of the red flags to look out for.
They say it all the time.
But
for some reason, it always looks.
And if someone's rushing you to make that investment quick, you got to do it by a certain date and time. Take your time and investigate these things, man. You work hard for your money. You can't just let it. You just can't let it. $3,000 to get $300.
They're lucky they got something. This person says there's a very high-profile person who makes money by luring people to watch the videos with 4-minute wait times before the video starts. 4 minutes.
You're gonna sit for 4 minutes to wait for the video to start.
So very high profile.
Wow.
Okay. Folks got to stop being so gullible.
Correct.
Really.
We got to take responsibility.
There's no easy money.
No.
Without consequences.
Correct.
In this town. There's never been. And it's never going to change.
Yeah. So just be careful out there, folks.
Yeah. DeQuestadine.
Hey.
So great to see you.
It was wonderful to be in studio with you today.
Thank you for being here this morning. I'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Not before.
All right.
And I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Everybody have a great day. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green next.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.